Okay. The camera's there. Okay, so, lots of things have switched up. First and foremost, you're probably wondering, if you're following these, why it took me so gosh darn long to get this other one up. So the dealio is, if you'll let me tell you the tale of my woes. So, okay, so I've recorded this before. So, so my last video I uploaded, I accidentally didn't record the desktop audio, so I had to go through an MP3 online downloader, re-download the video's audio, and clip it in separately, but I wasn't gonna let the reaction go to waste. Then, so I got that one up just fine, and it was just like a day's extra work. But then, I did my next one, which was going to be the one that I'm doing today, which was the... I think it was just selfishness v. selflessness, the bloopers in between them, and then dealing with intrusive thoughts. So I did the entirety of selfishness v. selflessness. That's a hard name to say. I'm just going to refer to it as SVS from now on. I watched the entirety of SVS, and then I was partway into the bloopers reel when I leaned in to do our fun little gag. You remember the Joan thing, because Joan was there? And I realized that my microphone was not there nor plugged in. So it's a little bit harder to go on MP3 and download recorded footage that you didn't record of your own self talking. So I wasn't able to use any of that footage. It was just my face just kind of making mouth movements while the video was the only audio that there was. So I'll insert here the footage of me realizing that I had not been recording sound. Yeah, and then, I was going to record a reaction to the newer bloopers video, which I might do in this episode. I guess I have to, because it's not like I'm just going to do a rewatch for that one bloopers video. Or maybe I'll stick it in with my next one. I don't know, whatever. So, here's the thing. So, then I ended up accidentally, instead of on OBS clicking record, I clicked stream. Yeah, and then I didn't have it set to record when I click stream automatically. And then I got even more sad, because I realized that after I had reacted to the whole thing, and then I went to turn off the recording and it was on stream, and I made all these jokes about not recording this episode on that episode, and I wasn't recording that episode, so I'm just a big ol' idiot, and I don't know how to YouTube, but God, I'm laughing now. Here's the thing, this is why I've waited so long, because otherwise I would just be crying and unmotivated and everything. So I lost motivation for so long, because I didn't want to go straight into it and then pretend I'm coming up with all the jokes and stuff on the spot when it was already done, and I didn't want to have to rewatch the whole episode and have all these funny things I said the last time in my head while I was trying to not replicate those things that I said. So I've decided to wait this long so I could forget all the stuff that I said in the first one, so I could have new insights into this one. I was actually considering, sorry, this is a long intro, but I was actually considering doing this reaction after the next episode comes out, because I thought it would come out much sooner. so I could have new insight into the SVS episode, but I think it's more like, it's more like a rewatch if I do it here before the next episode comes out. And then the bloopers, I was just really bummed, but I did get retweeted by Thomas. I did get replied to by Thomas on Twitter when I said, like, I reacted to your video, please pretend that you saw it and liked it, and he was just like, oh, sorry, I'm glad you liked it. So that was nice, but it was sad too, because I got such a heartfelt moment at the end of that episode where I was just like, gosh, this just makes me so happy, and thank you so much, and gosh, I love this content, and I was talking, like, so from the soul, because my face was all red from laughing, and then I went to my recording, and I wasn't recording. So isn't that fun? About the thing in the corner of the screen, so I have this new setup also, too. I've got a monitor, I've got like a TV-style monitor up here that I got from my mom's boyfriend, and then I've got my normal computer here. So on my normal computer, I'm going to be looking above, because I'm watching the Sander side's up on the top computer, and then on the bottom monitor, I'm drawing. So that's what the little thing in the corner is. Of course, you can't, like, it's not a drawing stream, so I'm just going to show you that just in case you want to see what I'm doing. So this is actually for an AP art project. I took pictures of a ton of graffiti in my school bathroom stalls, in all the bathrooms, and I just took pictures and I'm tracing over it, and then I'm going to make a little tiny bathroom stall, and I'm going to put all the graffiti on there. It's going to be great. But just in case you want to see what I'm doing, because that's what I'm going to be mostly focused on. Well, I'm going to be focused on, like, listening to this, because I already know I've already seen it. I'm just seeing, and if it ends up that I can't focus on this while I'm doing this, I'll stop, but I'm just going to see how that works out. And now you probably want me to stop talking and just get into it, so here we go.
Seems right. Might also
Uh-oh.
seem difficult. But
Whoops.
listen to your...
So sorry, sir. Your table isn't quite ready.
It's you know how long it's gonna be?
Just a goodie. Mr. Chance.
The rapper. Mr. The Rapper.
Whoa! Hold on! Before we get started, this video is brought to you by HelloFresh.
There's a sponsorship at the very start of this one. Got the microphone in front of my drawing. I hope that this other capture doesn't make it lag even more. I don't know, I'm gonna check, wait.
I'm gonna make some real good HelloFresh salsa verde.
Yeah, no, we're good.
So...
Also, I got my hair out because it can get tied up. Oh yeah, everyone freaked out at this.
Is your door locked?
I've seen a bunch of reactions of this and everyone just got really excited.
What do you think people say?
Yeah, no, this isn't gonna work.
Virgil! I know you are not giving other people anxiety.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to focus on that as well.
No one else's. Trifling ass assailant of my emotions. Sorry, he's still bummed that I went back to brown hair. I said I might dye it again soon.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom,
What is up, everybody? Guess who just got a call back for an Alfred Hitchcock Lucas movie? Yes! A chance to be on the silver screen. And step one.
And here I can check to make sure I'm still recording or something without having to pause the video.
He got what now? He got a lot of trophies coming his way.
See how much it's lagging and everything? Because I think I'm finally comfortable seeing my own face in the viewfinder. Alfred Hitchcock Lucas. I actually, okay, I don't know directors, so the first time I heard that, I thought it was just like an actual real director. But now I get it. It's very funny, and I like the joke, and it's great.
Too soon, and not late enough. He has a prior engagement, related engagement that day.
It's a good joke.
Oh, come on. How is that already almost here? I can't miss that. Can you reschedule the callback?
Reschedule a callback? Oh, Patton, that's That's adorable. The callback date is inflexible. Same as the wedding date. Yeah. And Lee and Mary Lee
Yeah.
really want you to be there.
Yeah.
And they've always been there for you when you needed them.
Yeah.
And you were really excited to go, too.
Yeah.
Speaking for someone
Nobody's
who disagrees
excited to go
with
to a
Pete
wedding.
Thomas would rather go
Let's
to a
be
wedding than
serious.
I, the brilliant
Ooh.
Logan, think we should hear it straight
The
from
tie.
Thomas, the floor is yours.
He actually does a really good job here. Like, I wouldn't have noticed, but
Information obtained directly
because
from its original
hasn't
source.
Logan
I know
used
that,
expressions?
but
I don't know.
Logan
Whatever.
would think that that meant a literal horse spoken, and of course, a horse is not a good source of information.
It is cool. It's a little bit of fuel for like the shippers of like
I
Patton and Logan to see how much Patton knows how Logan acts and knows it's not actually Logan.
have to point out that the floor is Thomas's. Obviously, it's Thomas's. Thomas owns this
This
whole
whole
apartment.
apartment.
Okay, can I just say it? He's definitely deceased. Come on out. Just show yourself.
Show yourself.
Guilty as charged. Hi, hello. What do you want?
Ah, they're dynamic. Oh my gosh, that was my whole last reaction. This is just me raving about the dynamic. Oh, I love it.
So good. Well, your face ruined my day.
I always see their relationship as, I don't know if I've said this, but like, I said this in previous episode, but,
Please don't tell me how to do my
gosh,
job
he's
better.
such a dick in this episode. Oh, I love him.
As an actor, may I say,
But I see their dynamic as like big brother who like little brother ran away from, and then they have to like, you know, see each other at Christmas.
Roman nickname, Dr. Trickle and Mr. Lies. What he said. But he didn't leave it at Dr. Trickle. Oh, what? So I can't join in and give my honest opinion?
Why is he so much hotter in this episode?
Don't believe you can give your honest
That's a real question. Why is he suddenly so much hotter in this episode? Even before he gets into the suit, he's so much hotter in this episode. I was like so hesitant to say this last time I reacted to it, but I'm just gonna outright say it. He's so hot.
bad to see. Oh, sorry.
That's why I like him more now. And like before he was like a dorky like Disney villain, but now he's like, you know, Bill Cipher, who was my first crush, by the way.
Virgil's very right. You can't trust me. It's not like I'm trying to look out for you or anything. Yeah, when I think of trustworthiness, I immediately think of someone who consistently disguises themselves like a member of Team Rocket.
That was an
Oh, and no
improv
one has ever done any
line.
with dishonesty
Team
at
Rocket.
someone else's expense. It was pretty despicable when the Allies
By
misled the
Talon.
Germans about the date and location.
Gosh,
of
this is the
deal.
best joke. I always laugh at
Operation
this
which
joke.
led to the eventual
Liberation of Europe from Nazi control.
All right, he can stay. Wait, seriously? Sounds like he's against Nazis.
Nazis.
So not hear him out, you know? That
Cannot
cannot
be
be
where
where
the
the
bar
bar
is.
is. Well, the bar for skipping an
I
important
love it.
opportunity should be higher than a social
Social engagement.
Come on, a wedding is more than just a social engagement. He knows that. Do you want the part in the movie or not? I mean,
He starts getting real here. You can actually start seeing his like actual motivation and everything. Something I actually noticed in my last reaction and kept bringing up.
do you want the part or not? Of
The
course
way
he
he
does.
like
Thomas
it
made
when
a
it cuts to
commitment
deceit,
be there for his friends'
when
commitment. It
he's
would be
not like
wrong
actually
for him
speaking,
to
when it
go
cuts to him and he's just going like
Yeah.
looking around them.
See,
He's like
standing in the
super
spot of one of my
observant.
four best friends.
Like
Would that
he's
be
just
wrong?
kind of watching. He
Thomas
sees through everyone's
gave his
BS and
word,
he's
but
just
you
kind
wouldn't
of
know anything
like,
about words, would you, mister? I don't know what you mean. Giving your
gosh, he's
word is
such
an act
a
of honesty, but
little
I can't understand you. I don't know anything
sniveling
about
little
words. Okay, all right, we got a smart aleck over here. Huh? I mean,
worm.
things come up, you know?
I'm gonna pause for a sec because I want to say this. Okay, so I know last time I reacted to this, I spent way too much time like trying to put in my ideas, and then I kept forgetting, and then kept trying to refocus on the thing. So I'm just gonna say it now. So basically, whenever it cuts to deceit, like whenever you like see him like on the screen when other people are talking, you can see him just kind of like looking around, looking at everybody, and like you can tell that he's like he can decode what they're saying, whether that's good or bad. Like that could be like a power that like it depends on whose hands it's in, but he's got a power there as he can look at someone and call them on their BS, and he can like he kind of like he picks apart the situation that he's in like as it's going on, like when like Patton says you don't mean any of this. I'm your morality. I wouldn't, like, I would know if you did, or something like that. He, like, looks at him, like, he can tell that, like, Thomas isn't quite into it. He can pick up that Roman more wants to go to the callback. He can pick up all these little things, and that's why I love him. It's not necessarily a manipulative thing, but he does use it, like, as a manipulative thing a bit in this episode, but it's just, he's so smart when it comes, all the sides have their own forms of intelligence, and Deceit's is, like, subtext. Deceit is so good at subtext, and he can pick it up while people are laying it down. Like, he's so into knowing people. He knows exactly what people mean, and he tries to use that to his advantage, which can be manipulative, but also can just be, like, a form of intelligence. I probably repeated a lot of stuff there, but...
To miss the wedding. Why should it be any different when something good comes up? Are you seriously siding with Deceit?
I'm looking way farther up than I thought I would.
Do you think that everything said by someone you don't like is automatically untrue? This is a big deal for
He
Thomas.
isn't Deceit, though,
Maybe
so...
Mary and Lee will understand.
It's actually Mary Lee and Lee. Not confusing at all.
Roman, this is their big day. We have to be there for them.
We don't have to do anything. But if you think they'd be cross about your absence, I didn't mind Roman's little...
Then there's where we get the, just
I mean,
straight up lying.
No, lying is already
There's
bad.
intelligence, and then
Lying to a
there's,
friend
like,
is
intelligence and, like,
but
being
what
smart about, like, figuring out how to get people to
So
do...
cool how you never listen to Roman.
Why is he still here?
then I'm gonna have to pause to talk about him and Roman, because that sure is a thing. But
It's not really a...
sometimes Deceit just flat out lies, and then sometimes he's being smart. But the whole... I'm gonna say this now to save us all the trouble. I'm just gonna stick in most of my main points here at the start. During the courtroom situation, even now, like, I can't believe you, it's so fun how, like, you guys never listen to Roman or something. That's the thing, is, like, Deceit picks up on Roman's, how he wants to go to the callback and how it helps him. So he uses Roman. Here's the whole Rosette thing. Yes, I'm going to talk about this. The Rosette thing about how everyone, like, the chemistry in this episode, they're clearly flirting. We can all say that. And they can't, and the team can't say, like, oh, that's not what we intended. They intended that. But the whole thing about it is, like, people are, like, shipping Rosette, like, as a romantic thing, and I don't see it as, like, a romantic thing. I see it particular, like, I can never see them as, like a couple. I always see it as Deceit. It's a one-sided thing where Roman falls for Deceit, and Deceit uses Roman for something. And I wrote one of my best fanfics I wrote was about that. It's on my AO3, which is also Marsupials of Mars, which is, I think it might be with hyphens or underscores, I don't know. But it's Marsupials of Mars, like my Tumblr. And it's called Visiting, and it's all about, like, so Patton learns about, Roman says, like, offhanded comment, like, just saying, like, oh, I never visit my brother, and then Patton gets so offended, and he's like, well, maybe if he had more role models in his life, he wouldn't act the way he does. So he forces Roman to go and have dinner with the dark sides, and then Roman has a crush on Deceit, and there's this whole thing, and this whole, like, it's really awkward, and then Deceit starts to kind of play into this thing. It takes place right after SBS, so Deceit starts to play into this. Roman gets the wrong idea, actually starts, like, and then chaos ensues. Virgil exacts vengeance. It's this whole thing, but I don't see it as, like, Deceit. I think Deceit manipulates without considering the repercussions. Okay, so I kind of see Deceit not to, like, as, like, I'm not gonna say a sociopath, because that's kind of, like, mean, because I don't think he is, but I think sometimes he overlooks how things affect people emotionally, and he'll more just kind of do what he does in order to like get the outcome that he wants, and he doesn't see anything wrong with that. He's just like, oh, if I say this thing to this person, then they'll agree with me, and like, what's the problem with them agreeing with me? I just need to say, the red line is lined up perfectly with Thomas's sleeve right there. Going back to what I was saying, like, I see Deceit as like, he uses people to get what he wants, but he doesn't see what's wrong with that. He doesn't necessarily feel like he knows it's manipulative if he thinks about it, but I feel like his natural state is to get what he wants because that's what he stands for. I think if, when called out, he would understand, oh, that was kind of douchey of me, but you know what I mean?
Hurting my friends if they think I'm gone for a better reason.
Not hurting them. Better reason.
Two different problems with that sentence.
What is this wacky talk?
Yeah, right here. You don't mean any of this. And then he's like, really?
Right.
Really?
You're right. I don't mean that.
And
Is that what you're saying? That's what you're going with?
honor. Why are you pushing Thomas to
And
be
now he
dishonest?
sees that Patton is kind of
Stay in
being,
my room if I knew Dad was gonna take us on a guilt trip.
not manipulative, but kind of like,
Who else is
well,
here?
yeesh, that's not really.
So perhaps
Try to like convince
Thomas
people of his own point.
isn't so innocent.
Well, nobody's perfect. Except for Thomas. He loves his friends. You
And
can
then
defend
here we
who
are.
you like.
Oh, it's
You
them.
can't change the facts.
His suit.
Oh my gosh. Is Thomas an innocent little lamb?
And then the other one that I love
Be
is
the judge of that.
Virgil's tie.
Oh, I can do that.
And then
We are back
just
in the mind palace.
Judge Roman.
I
The-
can summon anything.
I'm too emotionally unstable for jury.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I love how they found a tie that matched
Jury duty is so much fun.
Thomas's shirt.
Hopefully, he's better at.
I'm gonna keep thinking of the bloopers. I gotta say that whenever I see parts of these, it's just bloopers, and I can't stop thinking about the Patton moan. And if you haven't seen the bloopers, that's gonna sound odd out of context.
We'll show him. Okay. Cool. I mean, you've never steered me wrong before, right?
Does everyone understand their parts?
I broke my gavel.
I don't care.
I don't know. I think morality steers us wrong a few times in our lives. Never saying like it's better to not listen to morality, but if you listen solely to morality, it's like it's the Yerkes Dodson thing all over again. If you listen solely to one side, it's not going to go well.
State of Thomas Sanders. Deceit. Prosecuting for the state of Thomas Sanders under oath. Information makes that
Deceit.
Thomas Sanders,
With
count
the
one,
sexy
did
smirk
unlawfully
and
and
so
worldly
pretty.
conspire to waive support of Lee and Mary Lee, who were then and there characterized as friends. Count two, did unlawfully
Characterized
and
as
with
friends.
malice aforethought falsely impersonate a better person. Count three,
Yeesh.
did unlawfully and
That's an
surreptitiously
oof, Chief.
prioritize his own desires and designs. Count four, did willfully and without authorization engage in a scheme to defraud Lee and Mary Lee. Count five,
He's
did
looking
leave
all
his dirty
smug.
underwear all over the gosh darn floor like a gosh darn animal.
I'm sorry. What was that last one?
Yeah, the underwear couldn't be Thomas's. He would never. Objection! I can confirm that Thomas does leave his filthy underwear on the floor after tearing them off the moment his guests leave the house.
That's true.
Objection. Judges don't object.
Objection. Neither can the jury.
Well, that settles it. Thomas is guilty.
The jury decides if
It's
he's
funny
guilty.
that I wonder why he automatically went to guilty when he didn't know.
His best.
Does that kind of show into his real what he'd like to say?
Underwear aside, being so charged, Thomas Sanders, how do you plead? Not guilty.
Not guilty. Ooh, said with the
I do wanna
confidence of
see.
a man who has his hands stuck in the cookie jar.
Go to jury duty, see the person go, not guilty. Yeah, everyone.
Get it?
Prosecution, your opening statement.
The only thing opening should be Thomas's mouth because
'Cause
he's,
he's the
about to
man
be
who
served
served
his
him
just
right.
desserts.
Oh, actually, I just learned.
I
from
can't
a podcast
stop
that
with the
just desserts
bloopers.
has nothing to do with the dessert that we eat. It's actually
But it did sound weird, even the first time you said it.
So let's act like it, all right? Defense.
I would just like to say that I am rubber, you are glue.
Like, the
whatever
first
you
time
say
I
about
saw
the
this
song of me,
episode,
that
I
is
thought
all.
the dirty way rather than even before I saw the
Prosecution,
bloopers.
your first witness.
I would like to call
Logan to the stands. Yay! Finally our boy.
Dan. David. Logan. I'm a lawyer now.
Wait a minute.
You guys are doing a courtroom scenario?
Yeah, it's also weird how he leaves out Logan, because the whole thing is like, sure, Logan can counteract.
Did you ever think of...
Sure, Logan can like counter dark sides. That's a big thing about him, but sorry, Corona. So that's the big thing about him, that Logan can counter dark sides, and like, see, sure, like Deceit would be wary of that, but I also think, with some logic, he would be able to find a compromise that's better than, you know, the compromise Logan comes up with later in the episode. So, like, I'm confused why he intentionally, because he's clearly intentionally keeping Logan out of it as much as possible, but, like, Logan would be a good addition for Deceit's purpose, to get them to kind of trust him a little bit more and, like, understand where he's coming from. So, I wonder if he's... Because I don't think he, like, has it all figured out. I don't think Deceit has a bigger plan. Well, he does have a bigger plan, but I don't know if he... I don't think he has, like, he's not, you know, omniscient. He doesn't know what exactly will work. But, like, I'm really confused about that part, because maybe he wants them to think super illogically at first, just to, like, get an idea in their head or prove some sort of point. I'm not exactly sure the point that he's trying to prove here, except for kind of justifying his existence in general. This whole episode confused me when I first watched it, and it confuses me even to this day. I hope the new episode that's going to come out is going to explain some stuff. I have a general handle on the episode now, but, like, the first time I watched it was just in one ear, out the other. I don't know. There's some things I'm not even going to be able to comment on, because it's just such a dense episode.
About that?
Impersonate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
know.
can't say I'm happy about it.
Who do you think
Wow, that's the whole thing is like, oh, that's a great gif.
Why is he still here?
The whole thing is Patton saying, like, can't say I'm happy about it. Patton is, like, so,
I guess he does know some idioms.
like, out of everyone. Like, it's surprising how just straight up, not rude exactly, well, rude, but, like, passive-aggressive Patton is towards Deceit compared to, like, how he usually acts. Like, you can tell he just, like, underneath his, like happiness, and you can tell his facade, not that it's a facade, but, like, his character starts to drop when he sees with Deceit. It's like, oh yeah, 6 hands motif. I love everything that they're swearing on. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know, who hasn't seen it, at least, everything that they swear on, I'll pause when it comes up. He's swearing on Stephen Hawking, Stephen Hawking's book. He's swearing on a Pinocchio VHS. He's swearing on a normal Bible. He's swearing on... Patton was swearing on a youth Bible, and Virgil was swearing on Grimm's fairy tales, I think.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under pains and penalties of perjury. I know I do.
I do. I do. I do.
Whatever. I do?
Okay, so we kiss now?
I saw a whole post about Patton actually just thinking that they're married now and going around acting like they're married, and nobody realizes that he thinks that.
Of course. But that's
Also a post about how the stinky poop decide how Deceit picked that up by hanging around Remus.
Do I? I do, yes.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Are you aware of Thomas's callback for the new Alfred Hitchcock Lucas film, as well as the wedding that shares the callback scheduled date?
Ah, I am.
Do you think some logic could be employed to assist with this dilemma?
Yes, there's always room for me. Sorry, there was something in my throat there.
I know, that's what I said, but Patton insisted we leave you alone.
Objection! Misleading the witness!
I'm gonna allow it.
Why?
I mean, did you see Logan's face?
You can see, like, Virgil's Roman's not, like, taking it serious. Either because he's into, like, of course, because he wants the callback, but he's also kind of doing it for Deceit. I don't really know. But, like, he's, like, not taking it seriously. He's kind of hiding that he doesn't want them to win behind the facade that, like, he just is an idiot. Either that or he's just an idiot and I'm overthinking it and Roman's just Roman and he's an idiot.
Winning the callback. Is that how that should be phrased?
Yes.
Thomas winning the callback is highly improbable.
What does he lose if he misses the wedding?
Potentially his friends? I found that Thomas's friends mean a great deal to him.
Sure, but what are your thoughts?
Sure, friends,
Well,
whatever.
Thomas has several friends, and they all tend to distract him from his responsibilities, so...
So Virgil's kind of the opposite of Logan, how Logan doesn't like the friends and Virgil, like, cares most about the friends. I guess Patton also cares a lot about the friends, but, like, Virgil needs the friends, Logan,
I don't feel anything.
like,
That
fights
said,
for
the
not
callback
needing,
has
really.
more to offer. The only thing the wedding has to offer Thomas is a potential increase in depression, whereas this film could radically shift Thomas's trajectory in life. A huge reward from an opportunity that statistically Thomas won't get again.
For some reason this isn't lagging now. I don't know what I did to make it not lag, but I'm really liking it.
Half of all marriages
Unless,
end
like,
in
it only
divorce.
lags when
That's an outdated statistic.
when
Divorce rates have
I
been
record it and I
35%.
stop it and all that.
You mentioned that you have responsibilities other than Thomas's logical thinking. Would you please name a few for the court?
Let's see. I am the primary overseer of Thomas's
Oh, I
land
like
center.
this,
I am the
seeing
director of
their
activities of
their
Thomas's
directors.
right arm. Just the right. The left arm
Yeah,
is
this is also confirming that, you know, Roman is the right brain rather than Patton.
real
Because
mature.
we knew, I always saw the whole thing like Virgil and Logan are the left brain, but Virgil's not necessarily entirely the left brain because he's also like illogical sometimes. But
There's also my
I always think maybe Logan Patton were the left brain, right brain, but it's Logan Roman now.
You ensure that Thomas is punctual?
I make an effort. I keep a daily planner and a calendar, both of which are used to record important events.
How's that working out for you?
It isn't.
Do you recall when Thomas was informed about the wedding thing?
I love how
6 months, 4 days, 3 hours, and
much
1 minute
deceit
ago.
keeps
So
his
he's
cool
known
just
for a
among
while.
just
And
morons.
when did Thomas hear about this callback?
2 hours, 15 minutes, 45 seconds.
All up until the end. That's, yeah, I love how, so I love how much he keeps his cool. That's pretty cool. But then at the end when he loses it all, I love that in a character just all collected, all great, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong and they just lose it. This wasn't supposed to happen.
That is bad for my case. Patton, I hate to break it to you, but you know that's kind of his job. I didn't think that would work.
And it didn't. Probably the thing I like most about Sanders Sides is the line delivery. They're so good at coming up with the right line delivery.
And it looks like it's time for us to make a plea bargain.
Just straight up bribing in front of the judge.
Well, thank you.
Hell yeah.
Will you change the calendar?
Objection. I'm sorry, but that's bribing a witness and harmful for your teeth.
Oh no, I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to
Kids show with Logan
sweeten the deal.
talking about health.
Thomas, it seems these days your moral compass is pointed south.
Towards hell.
Lemony Cricket, Jiminy Snicket, that one was just hurtful.
He's clearly manipulating the witness into doing what he thinks is best.
We can see
Wait a minute.
the
Who
Scooby-Doo
was it that was
villain
called a
comment
Scooby-Doo villain
got to
and
deceit a
doing
little
the
more than we
exact
thought.
same thing? Oh yeah, it was
He doesn't
me.
like getting made fun of. It hurts his
So he didn't
feces. It
wanna
hurts
play
his
by the
little
rules
snaky
of your game.
feces.
Big deal. This whole thing's probably rigged anyway. It was set up by a liar. Takes a liar to know a liar. Ooh, this guy's good.
He just said he was a
We need to
liar.
focus more on
say
Virgil's
liar, I
expressions
said
when he's not speaking,
lawyer.
because
Totally different.
it shows a lot about their relationship too.
Your Honor, will you control
It's just
the one
so
angry man over
much
there? One angry man.
anger. I really want to learn what the history between Virgil and Deceit are, like, is, just because whenever they speak, Virgil just gets so
That.
irrationally mad. Like, it's crazy. Like,
So I just wanted to bring that back up.
we never see him like that. He just gets so furious just anytime he's speaking. It's anywhere near to see. It's crazy. I really want to figure. I also wrote a
Right?
fanfic about that. Is I actually used like character Thomas's like learning that he was gay, and it was this whole thing about how it was called, what was it called? Oh gosh. Wait, I forget. Wait, what did I call it? Whatever. So, you can find it on my AO3 somewhere, but like, Thomas was at a party, there was a whole spin the bottle cliche mess, and then, ends up kissing a dude, whole thing, and then character Thomas, because I don't claim to know any stuff about actual Thomas, and that's weird. But, and then it was this whole thing basically illustrating how, anxiety was, like, in control during the teen years, but didn't like it and felt like he couldn't handle it on himself, and was super dependent on, like, Deceit, and he trusted Deceit so much, and they were so, like, close, and the thing was, like, Deceit really wanted to protect Virgil, really wanted to protect Anxiety, so he would help the only way he knew how, and he would give, like, comforting lies, and he would lie to himself. Oh yeah, no, that's why, the story's called We Like Girls, and, everyone's freaking out. Virgil comes up to Deceit, and he's, like, shaking, and he's awful, and he's like, Deceit, and he's like, what's wrong, and he's, like, hugging him, and he's like, we like girls, right? And Deceit's like, yeah, we like girls. And then everyone calms down, and everything's fine, and everything's nice. And then I like to think, like, afterward, like, the whole thing is, like, but then it, like, costs Thomas his mental health later down the line to be lying to himself, even if it helped his anxiety in the moment. And then Virgil finds that out, and that's the big falling out he and Deceit have, is that, like, he would rather have Deceit be honest with him and not use, like, lies to and, like, he doesn't want Thomas to get hurt because he can't control his own anxiety, and he, like, hated how Deceit hurt Thomas for him, because Thomas is always the priority. They get into this big fallout. That's my, like, HC, until proven otherwise, about how their falling out took place.
Would that have gone first? I'm sorry, Thomas. Oh, hey, buddy. No, it's okay. You'll figure it out.
I don't know if I will.
Come on, you don't mean that. I have no idea what I'm doing. Sure you do. Come on, this is like a frickin' courtroom where the truth
comes to hang out.
Hang out. And that's what you
I'm
stand
gonna,
for.
That's a new quote. We need to
But I
use
don't know
this.
what's true at this
Anytime there's a
point. I just
courtroom,
know what
like
I
those little,
want
like,
to be
things
true.
out front.
I
It's just
want to believe you're an honest
like
person.
yada yada city courthouse where the
Deceit's
truth comes to
right.
hang out.
He's here. And that means something.
The soundtrack's so good. I need to pay attention to the soundtrack more. Like, I don't know if they find it, like, in some sort of music library, or who makes them, just like but, like, I never realized that there's, like, a soundtrack except for, like, the actual songs with words. But, like, the music is good behind, like, they choose it, like, setting the tone really well. This is, like, a jazzy kind of thing.
Okay. Then I'll do whatever I can to make sure you're not.
Medical school, it was very stressful. Sleepless nights, eating on the go. I lost
Lag
a lot of
check.
hair during that time.
There's always just a tiny bit of lag on there.
Find something that is both
So I gotta,
and effective.
when I sing the songs, that's something I tried, when I sing the songs, I have to sing it a little early.
In the scenario. I mean, we already have our roles.
I'm afraid this is a benched trial for
When
you.
I sing the Intrusive Thoughts song.
Really?
I'd like to call my next witness to the stand. Virgil. Very well. You don't usually have anything helpful to add anyway. Okay. Ask me a
Here
question.
we go.
You are in control of Thomas's
He's just so angry.
We all know each other.
So
Who are
tense.
these clarifications for? Cut to the chase. Is it true that you once said that weddings are outdated, overly expensive?
That part.
Yeah,
Deceit
well,
doing
I also once swore to
impressions.
Thomas that the drink he left alone in the other room
So
for
good.
10 seconds
I want to
was
see
definitely
more
poison.
sides
And if
doing
he drank
impressions
it,
of each
he
other.
would die.
I really like the idea that, like, you know, none of the like, I made a post about that and everyone was, like, commenting on it. One of my favorite things about that was, like,
As Thomas's anxiety didn't have any relevant
all of the sides trying to do impressions of each other and none of them get it right. And Thomas is just like, you all have the same voice. How do you not get it right? And then Deceit's the only one who can actually do impressions.
Glass houses, Virgil. You yourself said that you are not a beacon of truth.
Yeah, because I'm wrong a lot.
Oh, so you've never been reluctant to share anything with the group then? What? I just meant your name. Oh, maybe that's why.
I like the idea of
For what I am.
Deceit showing up at this next episode and, like, looking at Virgil and being like mocking him, kind of being like, was that so hard? Just It's just who you are. Was that so hard?
Go ahead, Pat.
The whole thing about, you know, being a dark side, that's, of course, what he was talking about at that point.
It's your honor.
To sustain.
Do
Pandering.
what you gotta do, Your Honor.
Suck up.
I have no further questions. Hi, Virgil.
Do you happen to know Thomas's feelings about how
I don't know what this whole thing is about. Is this like an impression of someone? I don't know.
Obviously.
Oh, okay. Well, I bet he's even more nervous about lying to his friends about why he's skipping the wedding.
Leading the witness.
Sustain.
This taught me what leading the
How
witness
does
meant,
Thomas feel
and I'm happy
lying to
about
his
it,
friends?
because now I can
He's
use
even
that.
more nervous about lying to his friends about why he's skipping the wedding.
Why do you think that scares him so much?
Because he could get caught in a lie.
Why is that so scary?
I don't know. It could hurt Mary Lee and Lee.
But will they punish Thomas?
How old are you?
Will
I
Thomas
made a
get in
post
trouble?
about how
No.
So what's the big deal?
Roman
I
like
mean,
comes
why is it
storming
so
up
bad
to his
if they
seat,
get
going
upset?
like, "You need to get your pest problem under control." Oh, you're talking about Remus? Yeah, it's like, and then he starts like saying like he's plague on the, and then he's like, "You need to figure out some sort of punishment," and then Remus goes from behind the door, "Oh," and then he goes, "Please, he's stealing my jokes."
Kill the next witness.
All right, next witness. Oh,
Your name is Roman.
That's definitely not
The one and
allowed.
only. What? Freudian slip.
So, Roman, can you spell your name to the court?
Ha! Easy.
You know what would make me not lonely? Just kidding, unless...
Ooh, I'm afraid that's wrong. It's actually spelled W-R-O-A-M-M-I-N.
No, it
A lot of
is
Tumblr
not.
usernames
He's a fake.
born
What?
from that line.
I'm real Roman. I'm sorry I couldn't. Oh, you know I love
His laugh. Oh my gosh, I love to see his laugh. My favorite laugh out of all of them. They all have different laughs, different singing voices. Deceits is the most distinct, and I love it the most. It's either like a sinister chuckle or just
It feels like no matter how hard I
just a caw, just screech, just a parrot sound of just high. I love whenever he gets like not like he's just a little bit lower when he's being normal, and then when he's like loses it, he just the pitch of his voice just.
we get to watch merrily, and their life becomes a dream.
So let me get this straight. The best thing for us to do is sit with a crowd of strangers, watch two people shove cake into each other's mouths, make out, and tell each other how much they love each other, while dressed like a butler and a princess.
Who's dressed as the butler or the princess? The
Level with me.
people getting married, or you
Is
guys?
Thomas secretly in love with Lee?
I would love
So he
that
doesn't
if
plan
they're
to
all in
reject
like
the
suits
union
or
for a
dresses
dramatic declaration of his undying love for
at the
Lee.
wedding.
Who is more important in this friendship, Lee and Mary Lee or Thomas?
I see what you're doing. You're trying to trick me into saying that Lee and Mary Lee are more important, but I know that everyone's equal.
And yet, we're prioritizing the wedding over the callback, and therefore, their wants over ours.
yes.
One last thing.
That's the whole thing. It's like, okay, so
Say you had a
this is something I've been wanting to. I always think about this. Whenever someone's like, "Oh, I'd die for you," oh, the whole thing is like, you should put yourself above others. That's just plain and simple. You are more. I'm not gonna say you're not more important. You're more important to yourself. People need, of course, people need empathy, and people need, like cooperation. People need to care for each other, but you're responsible for you, and if you're putting others' needs above your own, you're not doing it right. You should be selfish first and foremost, and then like get your needs fulfilled so you can better help other people. Like say like so like saying like I would die for you. That's not healthy. Say, okay, so if like they were in front of a train and you had to jump in to get them out of the way, and you think that, oh, maybe we can get both out, but then you die for them, you're willing to risk your life for them. That's not the same as dying for someone. Here's the thing, is like, sure, like, if like a whole school of children, and there's someone who's like, I will press this button, and this whole school of children will die, or you will die, and there's this whole thing, and like, of course, you'd give up your life for that, but if it's like a person and you will for sure die, or they will for sure die, you you have to put yourself first. That's just how people work, and nobody should fault you for that.
Stereotypical relationship between a man and a woman. You lost me. Okay. Let me simplify. When two
That
people
joke.
want different things, what is the most fair solution?
Compromise?
Very good.
Treat him like a child, very patronizing. I love
What
it.
is the compromise?
Okay. Thomas goes to the wedding.
Yeah,
but
see,
he's
if
only
Logan was
to the
allowed to
next
participate,
if he wants to.
he would have figured out, he would have said, like, oh, yeah, that's a dumb solution. Here, there's a million different compromises that would be way more efficient.
Isn't always ideal.
Also, speaking of Logan,
Seems to be how they
I think the angle of this camera disproves the fact, like, the ability of Logan being in the back row, because I think it shows the very corner of the row and he's not there.
get to have their
So a little bit of a continuity error.
And Thomas has to watch. No further questions. Smirk.
Merc.
Just say smirk.
Roman,
He sure did, and I
imagine,
love
if you
him.
will, You've met an extremely
Someone tally up the
handsome
times
and
I say
wonderful
love
person. The second
in
most
this
handsome
episode or
prince
in
the
this entire
world.
series
Why can't I be the
because
first most handsome prince?
that's like my
Because
go-to.
you, you knucklehead. Oh, you need to.
Aw.
You need to chill. Suck up. Now you're married.
Oh, and you weren't being a suck-up deceit.
One at your wedding. Liza Minnelli.
I can't wait to learn his name. I feel like in this next episode we're gonna learn his name, but I'm gonna theorize at the start of the next episode.
That bitch, her puppy's sick. She has
That.
family emergency. I get it. Don't
I
love
love
it,
this
I
part.
get
And
it.
then Deceit realizing that he's like, he's not gonna get through to these people because they're all just too dumb.
All right, and conclude. That was just a scene. It was all
Right here.
just a scene. Now,
Oh
how
wait, yeah,
would
I'm
you
surrounded by
write that?
idiots. What am I trying to do?
It wouldn't bother me. Her not being there doesn't change the fact that it's my big day. You wouldn't miss Liza.
I don't know who that is.
Minnelli.
I need to look that up. Wait, I'm gonna look that up down here.
But you know what? She's her own person, and she has her own life. I can't take that from her. Her being at the wedding is for me. And if I forced her to be there when she didn't want to go, then I would be the selfish one. Next witness. Oh, okay. Well, deceit.
Sorry.
Let's
Wait,
get this over with.
this is a good
Do you
part. Wait,
know?
okay.
So, deceit. If that is your real name, it is. You always seem to have
Okay, I
some
still don't know who she is.
plan, some agenda. Doesn't everyone? Well, not everyone is so secretive about theirs. Everything has a purpose, and sometimes fulfilling your purpose requires keeping things close to the chest. Well, you're under oath, which I think means you gotta.
Oh,
tell
that
us.
reminds me of
Why the
Snitty's,
courtroom
the
scenario?
legendary
Why
Tumblr
pick a
post.
setting where,
Close to the chest.
the truth
If
comes
you
to
know what I'm
hang
talking about, you know what I'm talking about, because I'm not gonna describe
Oh,
it.
honey, the truth hangs out in the courtroom? That's a laugh.
See, his laugh is great. It's just ha!
That's a statement, right?
He's it's just like a squeak toy. I love him.
Laws are some of the
I want to pinch his cheeks.
society. And society is made of lies. Society
Scaly,
itself
snake-faced,
is a lie.
pinched his.
And what's the truth? You get enough people to share a piece of land and breathe the same air, and you've got a society. Why? It's just a bunch of people in the same general area. It's an abstract concept, as real as the monster under
I think
your
this is
bed.
what really made me fall for Deceit, is just him being all philosophical. What a boy.
All in the name
And
of
see him like actually like drop his
It's
like
absurd.
cool and know-it-all kind of thing. You just see him actually like, you actually get to see
I don't
what he's
want
like
Thomas
and
to
how,
be
what he
victim
thinks.
in a world where you can die for not
Especially this
following
line.
the laws made in the name of a law.
Soundtrack's good here too.
Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but that was so edgy and over the top. We're talking about a wedding here.
Am I being over the top? Yes. Oh, okay. I thought we were having a discussion about rights and wrongs, shoulds and shouldn'ts. In a society, those labels are deadly serious. Okay. Let me ask you another question. No, let me ask you a question.
I like that transition.
Do you know of Max Stirner?
I know Max Sternest. He's
Still
really
don't get
hard
this
on his
joke.
kids.
Someone explain it to me, please. In the comments, explain that joke to me. I don't get it. I know I've said I don't get a lot of jokes, but I really want to get that one, and I just don't. That's another thing, is right there, when Logan says he's an anarchist philosopher, what Deceit is describing is literally anarchy. Deceit is literally an anarchist. Like, people overlook that. No, Deceit is just straight up an anarchist, which makes sense. Like, he's self-preservation. He's you care about yourself. He's like selfishness. So it makes sense that he would support anarchism. And, like, wouldn't that part of your body be an anarchist? Or not body, part of your, like, consciousness be an anarchist? But I think it's hilarious how, like, put together he is, and he's like, no, anarchy.
Important to him. Not only does this go against your claim, but it discourages Thomas from performing more acts of selflessness in the future. Try again.
The wedding is more important because Thomas should support his friends.
Why are their wants more important than Thomas's?
They're not, but friendship is more important than acting in our own self-interest.
And there it is. We found our boogeyman. Friendship. That is the abstract that is being treated as greater than the individual. Another idea that is central to Stirner's philosophy is egoism, or putting it simply, acting in your own self-interest.
That's wrong.
So I guess you could technically call Deceit. Oh, dang it, I'm bleeding.
Everyone is an egoist.
I just pick up my face. That's just what happens. Don't comment on it.
Sounds like a bummer to the
What was I saying?
On the contrary.
You get it?
Wait, what was I saying? Wait.
He gets it.
Virgil's little smile there. Oh yeah, okay, so that's another name for Deceit. Instead of just saying Deceit, his, like, title could be Egoism, because that's more encompassing of his whole thing. But he's gonna get a name, so we're not gonna need another label.
That's wrong. No, you're
But it's sort of like,
wrong. See, the way we
anxiety
Stirner
versus
saw
paranoia.
everyone is
Like how people are saying maybe
you either know it or
Virgil's
you don't.
dark side name was Paranoia. If Deceit became a
You get it? Max Stirner?
a light side, he could be egoism or self-interest.
Starry-eyed. He believed that no one was more important than anyone else. And if everyone understood everyone else to be equals, then maybe we could have a society where you could either work with others towards a mutual benefit or be left to your own devices, if that's what you wanted.
Wait, did you just say
Soundtrack.
you thought all people were equal? Because Logan said he was racist.
And I said we weren't focusing on that today.
That tripped me up too. Racism.
And there he goes too, starting to get a little angry at Virgil. You can see he's less collected. You can see the closer he gets to achieving his goal and feeling like he's there, the more he gets angry at people for, like, throwing him off, you know, because you can totally see that he's, like, so determined, like, so goal-driven, that, like, the closer he gets, the more he's willing to give anything to get people to understand what he's saying.
I'm through with my questioning.
Correction, that was more like lecturing.
Yeah, it almost feels like you're not sitting this one out.
All right, now it's my turn to cross-examine the witness. What do you know?
I know nothing.
Where were you when the underwear was left on the floor? I need the truth. You can't handle the truth. Please stop yelling at me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's
It's
such a
okay,
cute
I
moment.
don't know if
A lot of people say it's cringy. I just think it's so
Of course
wholesome.
you are. I mean, yeah, you
It's
crack
such a
the
Patton thing to do.
But nobody's perfect. The important thing
So
is
cartoony.
you're trying your best.
Wow. Thanks, kiddo. Kiddo? I'm old enough to be.
I like to think. Comment what you think, because is he teleporting back and forth, or did he just duplicate himself? And he was just in both places at once.
Nailed it.
That's a great joke. Good job, Deceit. I love it.
Wedding can absorb all media attention and
It really kind of annoys me how his gloves don't match his shirt.
I guess so.
I just had to say that.
The last royal wedding probably wasn't the most important thing going on in the world at the time.
Okay, would you show an 8-year-old an R-rated movie?
Very confused, Thomas. That needs to be gift.
Would you
Just the
agree with a law that bans parents from letting their
just so
children watch
someone in the
R-rated
fandom just says something out of the ordinary. Just use that as a reaction.
I guess not. I would be up to the parents on how they want to raise their kids. What is happening?
So it's okay to have values, but not to universalize them. Well, I think
He has
some
so.
things
I
are
think like
universally wrong,
Deceit
but
needs to like
for less
take it
important
down a
things,
notch and like go with
sure, I
what
mean,
he
you
thinks
can't
is most
decide
important
what's right or
first,
wrong
because he keeps
for someone
bringing up like
else. Less important things
bunch
like
of
wedding.
different topics
You say
that he wants
the
people to
royal
understand,
wedding,
and
the royal
he needs
wedding
to like
wasn't that important.
converge them and
Loyalty,
make it a little
not
more
the
simple
belief
for
that
the less intellectual side.
But there are values that come naturally
And,
to
you know,
us, there are
Thomas.
some that are instilled in us. You don't speed while driving because you don't want a speeding ticket, not because you feel in your heart that speeding is wrong.
No, what if I fear...
Similarly, you fear being perceived as a bad friend.
He gets like louder. He starts, look how, he's
I plead the sixth.
see, you can tell he knows what people want, and he knows how to get them to do what they want, and he knows how to make them think they want certain things, and you can see he's getting more and more like assertive the way he speaks. He just gets more like unmoving, but more like
Roman wants me to win, so...
directive. Oh gosh, I just love his characterization so much. He's such an interesting
I know you're lying, Roman.
character.
Like I said, everything has a purpose, and you're denying yours. You want that called back so bad, and it will crush you if we miss it. So with
That
conflicting
line always gives me
confidence and
shivers.
so
Just
on,
the,
it all kind of evens out.
he's just so intense.
That's worse!
Yeah, this is a kangaroo court.
And you can see Roman just being like, why can't I just, because everyone else thinks that this is wrong, but I don't think it's wrong, and what's wrong with me? Everyone thinks this is an evil thing to think, and I'm thinking this way. Maybe I'm bad, so I have to agree with everyone else. I feel like that's what like the whole argument of the next episode is going to be about, is like how he feels like he must be wrong, and he's wondering why. This soundtrack here is great, just like the...
I was planning on playing Word Crush on my phone during the wedding ceremony to keep my mind off the fact that I'm single. I don't want to go. I'm afraid to go. And on top of that, a dream come true fell into my lap, scheduled on the same day. Anyone would want to go to the callback. So, yeah, I tried to force myself to forget about the wedding. And now I want to lie to my friends so they don't hate me for not supporting them. I'm a liar. I'm a liar.
So my...
Yes!
Yeah, there's the laugh again.
Whatever, let's just call it here and put him out of his misery.
Does the juror have his decision?
Yeah.
Look how pale he looks in that lighting.
The defendant is guilty on all charges.
Who knew convincing people to do something they really want to do could be so easy?
This is a downer.
Well, Your Honor, what's your sentence?
Sentence?
Why is he so dumb in this episode? He's not usually that dumb, is he?
Sentence for
Is it just because he looks, he's like dressed up all important, so in comparison, he seems even dumber? Okay, so people who love Roman, don't come at me for saying Roman is an idiot. I'm doing it in the most endearing way possible. Saying, because I love him. He's an idiot because I love him so much.
on the day of Lee and Mary Lee's wedding.
Now at Sprint, get the new Samsung Galaxy S25G for just $0 a month.
So my mom and brother come home at 7:30, so I might just do the intrusive thoughts one first, and then
Attaining his hopes through deceitful means.
But that's not true.
I love to see here. Here is where the dam breaks and everything. His car starts unraveling, and he's trying to grab it and roll it back up, but it just keeps going, and he's like, no, you guys were getting it. I had you on my side. I won. There's this whole,
Pretty important to do that kind of stuff all the time.
there it is.
Let me put it this way. Life
Is like a piñata.
colorful and full of stuff that makes you happy.
Sure. And you want that stuff that makes you happy, right?
Do I? Well, in order to get that stuff, you must attack the piñata. But you're wearing a blindfold right now. You can keep playing with the blindfold on if you
I
like.
like this line with Roman here. Like, you can see the no, where like Virgil laughs at him when he goes no. You can see, I love that line because it's just, you can see he's just, that was the last straw. Like, Roman was the last person he thought might be on his side. And then all of a sudden, Roman kind of conforms to the rest and is like, no, yeah, deceit's evil, and he does all these evil things, and this is what he wants to do. He wants to do evil things because he's bad, and I'm good. I don't know, maybe I'm looking too much into it, and that's like a joke, but, you know, don't put it in there if you don't want people to overanalyze. But that line is like, you can see just that's the whole, like, the panic that is in his eyes after that line where Roman's just beat someone up and robbed their unconscious body, right? You can see, like, that he's just like, he lost his last leg to stand on, and he's just devastated, and he's just, ugh. You can tell. He just loses the rest of himself.
That you beat someone up and
That's when he realizes he has to go with plan B.
No! I'm trying to teach you a lesson, but it's literally impossible.
Falsehood.
Oh my god!
You can see, even there, he wasn't just surprised. He was just, like, sad. Like, right when he says false.
I believe he's suggesting that you beat someone up and rob their unconscious body, right?
No! I'm trying to teach you a lesson, but it's literally impossible.
Falsehood.
Look at that. Look at him. You can tell, like, he's just like, I thought this was gonna go so much better, and now everything's gone to shit.
Oh my god!
Why don't you just leave the teaching to me? There he is.
Great. Well, I'm sure Thomas's friends would love to.
Now here's where he's made up his mind that he's, you know,
their wedding.
he's abandoning this idea, and he's gonna go with the next one, which is Remus related.
I'll always be a part of you.
Oh, look at the little tongues.
I'm not going anywhere. And there are smarter ways to get people to do what you want anyway.
He said he wasn't going anywhere.
Ad-libbed line.
Classic liar. If I had to see, why don't we invite him around more often?
Boy,
I'm rattled. Like a rattlesnake?
Patton, that joke was terrible.
I don't get this joke either, please tell me.
Slithered too undreamt of.
Oh!
I got you.
I'm glad that was a joke. For a moment there, I was devastated.
Roman, I want to thank you for helping to set me straight, despite the cost. I know that wasn't easy for you.
It wasn't. But you're welcome.
Well,
And we know that this next episode is going to be Roman versus Patton from, like, some membership live screen. We know that that's what it's about, so we'll see.
He was gone. Yeah, deceit's a weird one.
No, I was talking about myself. It's still difficult to believe that my participation was as restricted.
Logan was
as it
owed
It was
his
Deceit's doing, I'm
main
sure.
character
I would have
role
been a more
in the
than
Intrusive
worthy
Thoughts
Unlike him,
video.
I'm skeptical about whether a society could function without some sort of system of laws by which all of its citizens abide. Well, of course you feel that way. You love rules. Love is a strong
But, like, that's the
word,
thing,
but
is,
I
like,
do
you can see, like, he
appreciate
definitely loves rules, and he loves, like, the laws, but he still said stuff like, I'm not sure, what did he
For
say?
the love of Archimedes, I will never intentionally make a pun.
Well, unlike the tardy tea. Patton, that joke was terrible.
It's a weird one.
No, I was talking about myself. It's still difficult to believe that my participation was as restricted as it was. It was Deceit's doing, I'm sure. I would have been a more than worthy foil.
Yeah, that's
Unlike him,
weird.
I'm skeptical about
Yeah,
whether a
I'm
society could
skeptical
function without
about
some sort of
whether.
system of laws
He
by
normally
which
wouldn't
all
say
of its
that
citizens abide.
if he was so into rules, or if he's so into laws. You can tell he's willing to, like, to be a foil. He doesn't want to tear him down. He wants to, like, you know, debate. Like, Logan likes to debate. I don't know why Deceit shut him out like that, and I think that might have been Deceit's mistake.
Strong language. I freaking hated everything about
But of
this.
course we know Logan's not going to be the hero when it comes to Deceit,
Do not allow him
because
or any
Logan was already the hero when it came to
friends to stick around that long
Remus.
ever again. Okay, but what if
Ever again.
cool?
his friends
Very
or
cool.
Then we're all cool here. Now
your
I'm gonna
old
go be cool
friends,
somewhere else.
your old friend group.
Sorry for lying to you, Thomas. Lying? What do you mean? When did you lie?
Earlier, I kept telling you how you felt, even though I didn't know the truth. And I turned out to be wrong.
Well, you thought what you said was true.
No, I hoped it was true. Saying something is a fact when you don't have the facts straight is dishonest.
Well, it's okay. I know you were just trying to make sure I did the right thing.
And I really believe you are doing the right thing here, Thomas.
I
think I am too. I just wish that what
After this
felt
episode
right
came out, everyone was just like,
didn't also
was
hurt
it?
me.
Were they supposed to
here's
make
the
the
thing,
wrong
kiddo.
decision? Like, you could
People
tell everyone
hurt
was like,
all
no,
the
they should have
time.
gone to the
By going
callback.
to the wedding, you're making sure that
I'm
two of
really
your
excited for
friends
this next episode.
aren't
I
hurt
really
by
want to see how
the
this all
absence
turns
of
out, because this
someone
is
they
still
really
confusing
care
me.
about. Do you know why you're doing that? Because it's right? Because you can't help
Because
but
even the
imagine
moral that they
putting
give
yourself
here
in
is
other
like,
people's shoes.
empathy is not a
What if
blindfold.
accusers think
But that's
you-
not the point
Well,
that
that's all the shoes to put
Deceit
yourself
was
in.
really trying to make,
Those are
was
the
it?
most
Like, that wasn't the
important.
only
That
point that Deceit was
tendency
trying
is
to
a
make.
beautiful part of you. You shouldn't give it up for anything. And who knows, maybe one day you'll get to marry the second most handsome prince in the world. And I'll bet Lee and Mary Lee will remember when you were there for them. And they'll be there for you.
Thanks, Patton.
And don't mention it, kiddo.
Ding! Going down.
My dad likes
Well,
that joke.
Nothing like a day that starts with me getting good news and ultimately leads to me questioning if I'm a bad person. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I
a
am
bit of a downer, you know.
selfish at times, and I am well aware now of my capacity for deception. But Patton's right. I do also have empathy, and I should acknowledge and celebrate that as well. Empathy isn't a blindfold. It's our ability to understand and share.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna I'm
feelings
gonna have
with
enough time
others.
to get through just
Sometimes what
the
seems
bloopers
right
video
might
to give us a
also
little
seem
break, and then
difficult,
the
but listen to
intrusive
your
thoughts
heart.
video. And
Because
then
you might be
in my
sparing
next
yourself
reaction
some
video,
future
I think I'm gonna
guilt
react,
by
and
doing
then I'm
good
going
for
to get
someone else.
do a bonus where I
Until next time,
re-react to
take
the
it easy,
bloopers
guys, gals,
episode.
and non-binary pals. Peace out. Before we go to the end card, food. You like that? Do you like the food? Do you like food that tastes like it's from a restaurant, but you don't like leaving the house or paying a lot of money? Well, say hello, Fresh. Say hello to HelloFresh. You can make your own restaurant quality.
Okay, so now we're gonna
food.
do
But I don't know
the-
how to cook. Well, don't you
Okay.
worry, person with a silly
I don't
cartoon voice.
know.
With HelloFresh, the meal planning, the shopping, and the prepping is all
Okay,
done
now
for
I don't know which of my bloopers is my favorite. The Return of the Bloop, or not the Return of the Bloop, the Bloop Strikes Back, is that what it is? Return of the Bloop. I don't know which one of these is my favorite now, because now I've seen this one. I think I've said this before, my favorite bloopers are the ones that, like, you actually see the sides fooling around as the sides, like, he doesn't break character, but he, like, does the bloopers as the sides. It kind of reminds me of the Toy Story bloopers, or, like, the Pixar bloopers, where they'd, like, still animate the scenes, but do it as if the characters themselves were actors having bloopers. So, I don't know, I think, and they both have, like, dirty talk and stuff. Not dirty talk, wow, that's not the right term, like, dirty, like, like bad words and stuff like that, more so than the other ones. But I'm still not sure if I like this one or this one more, because I guess I have to say this one because Remus is my favorite character. I don't know if I ever say that. Remus is 100% my favorite character in Sanders Sides, and with only one more coming out, Orange, I'm pretty sure he's still going to be my favorite. So I guess I have to say that one. But I love them pretty much equally. They've got the same vibe to them, as opposed to the other ones. But okay, so here's where I want to talk about the difference between Deceit and Remus. Is the dark sides, the two dark sides, because I'm not going to consider Virgil a dark side. I love them both more than, like, the dark sides are my favorite sides. And then I've got, like, all the light sides I have a hard time choosing between. But I love the dark sides, but in very different ways. Is Deceit, I love him because he's got so much more to him. And I love his characterization because he's got such of a depth of character, and you need to actually, like, analyze him and figure out, like, what he needs and what he's trying to do, and the way that he feels like he has everything put together, but you can tell that there's some underlying, person in him where he's just, like, he has, like, actual, like, emotion and stuff behind him. It's sort of like the Logan characterization where where, like, Deceit likes to think that he's ahead of everyone else, but really deep down you can see, like, he's got things to deal with, and he's got his own issues. And then Remus is just straight up my favorite kind of character, just chaotic just because it's fun, causing problems on purpose, just a stinky little rat man. God, just, I love that kind of character where there's not a lot of depth, and sure, like, you can make angst about him, and I have, but just, like, just filterless, sure, I murder people, but, you know, like, it's fine, you know, don't even worry about it. I just love that kind of character, and he's my comfort character because, like, there's no depth to him, he's just Remus, and we love him for it. That's why he's my favorite. But okay, so I'll watch this one.
I sneezed myself so hard I regenerated.
It is important to keep receipts. Did you see that I held it upside down?
Yeah, this was the first one that I, like, died laughing at. The first, like, blooper I've ever, you know, legitimately not been able to, like, breathe the first time I watched it. And I still laugh every time I watch it, at least once.
Video you shall receive. In the time since the last one, there have been so many mistakes, ad-libs, and everything in between that we just decided to draw from the last 3 Sandersides episodes and leave the cartoon therapy and other videos for another day because look how long this video already is. There is quite a bit of
Oh yeah, I like how they started doing just Sandersides instead of, you know, incorporating other scripted content. And I think they decided that they want to do that because there's a lot of people who watch Thomas Sanders just for the Sandersides.
I'd like to call my next witness to the stand. Virgil!
No, yeah, I think I might like to see bloopers more than like Remus bloopers because it's easier to, it's funnier to see Deceit goofing off because Remus already goofs off all the time, and Remus out of character is goofing off less. But I love Deceit's bloopers because like it's just cool, collected, and he just stays that way while he's just saying some dumb stuff.
Thanks, Roman. Baby lawyer. Thanks, Roman. Thank you, Roman.
I don't know what he was trying to do there.
Spider-Man on Sandersides. Patton, should I kill Green Goblin? No, you silly spider.
We're talking about hearing him out in regards to him
Shooting puppets.
I read that somewhere.
Somebody said it.
Actually, I think I just made it up.
You what? You what? You do? Oh my gosh.
I'm a what?
Sorry. You.
Now I'm gonna go be. Come.
Oh, Logan, come on. We're gonna need.
Let's do the old liar. What
I
color
really
is
want
the
Thomas to release the whole video of the behind the scenes. I love that blooper. The behind the scenes where he filmed himself as the puppets, like acting out the puppets in normal clothes.
People fall into public favor very quickly. Did you see how I almost said opinion again?
I like the Logan bloopers too. Just any bloopers of someone who like is supposed to be serious and then just straight up isn't. Just goofs off in a serious tone. Just kills me.
I'm coming for you. High five.
Ow! I poked myself in the eye with my own thumb. Ow! Intact and wet. Ow.
Ow! Just it sounds like James from Pokemon.
Holy smokes. Did someone say mummy?
Is this lamp like broken? Is it supposed to be bendy like that? I noticed that recently. It's just kind of wobbly. I really like, I forget his name. Nate Beagle. Nate Beagle doing, like, acting as the characters that he's puppeting. He's pretty good at it.
In my mouth.
How is that?
No thanks.
I was in. Okay. All right. We gotta get through this. That is, an old college band I was in. Okay. Oh my God.
Get it together, Sanders.
That's who?
Bless myself.
Joan.
Silly. Come back up with a bloody nose. I'm like,
I think that's the part that I actually, that's the part that I realized that I wasn't filming. Maybe that, yeah, I think that was the part that I realized. So that was a bit of a flashback there. So yeah, now you can see how long it took me
Thomas was just like,
that I just wasn't recording, and I lost that much footage up to that point.
Whoopsie doodles. When he's behind the witness stand, the gloves are off.
Ooh.
Yes, bitch.
Well, unlike our pedantic friend, I don't have an issue with strong language.
I don't know, what does pedantic mean? I don't know. I don't remember.
Static.
Where were you when the underwear was left on the... Yes! First...
Roman, what the heck, man? Hey, everyone.
Forget the,
Like I talked
what's
to you about
the,
Jesus Christ. Putting it simply,
what's the-
brain is a necessary piece
what's the
of
sport?
puzzle that
The
is
sh-
the existence of life.
not, it's not
According to
shuffling.
The book
Is it?
of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
The thing where you just brush the ground. I was gonna make a joke about a sport. But I'm not going to because I don't know what the sport is called. So that's just a little peek into my mind.
Legal and binding. You signed it.
Curling? Curling? Curling. Curling. I don't like that one.
Not what I usually do. Let me unread my face right now. Hold on, the human side of deceit's gotta settle down. The blushing.
I like that idea that just to see just blushing on one side of his
This
face.
isn't the life I wanted. Or should I say?
Oh, I didn't watch the outro end card scene in the last one. Yeah, that's a good scene.
I'm a pretty bird. It's 2 o'clock, and I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Unlike him,
What I still don't understand is 2 o'clock a.m. or p.m. and it changes depending on what that is, what he was meaning.
There you go.
no.
I mean, it's just sweetener.
Ew. Ew.
Twilight, eat your heart out.
Be very afraid.
This is the song.
Oh, but a life full of jokes.
Sure is,
Free
Todd.
jokes and
It
English.
just serves as testament to the fact that you're negligent. No one wants to be.
Why are they there? Why are they there? Why do they need to be there? They're just gonna make Thomas laugh more.
There. Now you see. Lest you both end up blind.
I wish they actually put that in.
Blind.
Where's the wedding? Stupid. That's a stupid.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
You killed that one. Ow. Get ready. I just.
Was he trying to click his heels there? I want to see Deceit click his heels. And I need more of Deceit hissing. We don't have enough hissing Deceit. Actually, that was my icon for a while. I took that picture of him, like, doing that. And I, like, edited in, like, an actual snake tongue. It was cool. Fangs, everything.
You little bagged lunch. I'm gonna punch you right in your sack. Oh, that's your whole body. That's your whole body. Oh! Nice lunch bag. You know what you need? A knuckle sandwich. Oh!
God.
I'm doing. Virgil is right. Virgil's right. We argue and argue. Then you distract yourself and forget about the issue until you're reminded.
Yeah, we've kind of surpassed the whole thing about, like, some sides can say certain swear words because they've all basically said them all by now.
We know that we're not literally trapped in a nightmare. Look what I drew.
And now I'd like to call Thomas Standers. Whoops.
Oh, totally didn't f*** up.
You got me there. Do you want to throw
I got
more
that
fingers at me?
self-isolation cramps. Thomas, stop trying to catch things. You can't catch things. Oh, I'm sorry, Logan. Stop trying to catch things.
Butterfingers? Butterfingers? Have you not learned not to throw things at me?
Apparently not. I love when they string together clips like that where everything's just a mess.
I wasn't ready. We are just wonderful sports players. I'm certainly not good at snatching cards away. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Sorry for making you yawn.
What's up?
I'm tired.
I'm K9 Skrillex. Is this Skrillex's outfit at all? Other than the glasses? It was wrong. It was a poor joke to make. Oh. Hairball.
I would do if I was.
It is very you thing. What's that? Particularly the fourth. Hold on. However, a mixture. Look at this f***ing thing.
Oh my god.
We're all having a good time.
You look like a silly professor.
Hey, everybody. I know it's the last day of class. I thought I'd have some fun. It's so much nicer to be able to talk without a giant pair of testicles hanging from my chin. You always
That hideous thing. I don't like it.
seem to have a... You always seem to have a...
I have a time to get my yawns out. I'm actually tearing up because I'm yawning so much. What is wrong with me? It's not that late. It's 6:13.
What? Guys, I broke my blue crayon. Can we have an extra one?
This-
What am I supposed to be building?
I love just
When does Viola date
Roman
this
is
guy?
just
You
a
are in control of
small
Thomas's
child.
feelings, Are you not? A little drunk.
I'm so gassy. right
Deceit.
now.
I like to think Deceit is often wine drunk.
Sorry,
That's
okay.
why his voice is so low and seductive.
I'm going to my room now.
That was my voice.
Excuse me. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
This thing.
It's like half potty humor, half
Loud. Oh, no.
clever humor, and half swearing. You know the three halves.
I heard the devil was the one who caused it.
I'll do whatever I can to make sure you're not.
I think we got it.
Wow, I really do look like Parappa the Rapper.
Oh, Hana means family. But Roman said, and I quote, that dude, hold on. Hold on. This is the floppiest notebook. The only thing opening should be Thomas's mouth.
Can't imagine what it's like to have that green all over your entire face and ears and stuff. Yep, that's what I was quoting earlier.
So we're stuck in a loop. I
Just
don't know
the-
why I just made flirty with that.
I remember how shocked I was when I watched this episode because I had never heard, like, Thomas barely swore in the first ones. Sure, there was some Joan content of Joan just
So it is obvious.
dropping him everywhere, but then we're just like,
Truth.
oh my gosh, all the sides are so dirty. I get it. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
So we're not talking about the diarrhea.
I can't help but
I need that as my ringtone.
Well,
Thomas
we could
sings along to the
start by
ringtone.
having an open and honest son of a...
It's always great to see the Patton just seriously swear. Like the most recent bloopers video is just the recent
Who is more important in this friendship?
blooper video is just Patton just Roman, I'm gonna lose my shit. That's a
Even though
great
his
one.
teeth is still dripping a little bit. I don't.
Vine may be dead, but it's still I lost a tooth.
You need to put it on the pillow.
Be afraid. Be very
I want to get those teeth, not the ones that fall out, but like, you know, like the ones that actually look like fangs when you put them in.
You have a seat in the driver. I mean, if they're not going to hurt Thomas back, then why don't we just kill
Oh, what was that? Wait. There was a little hand in the corner there. Wait,
Just drop it. Open your mouth
just
wide.
look over here.
You have a seat in the driver.
When
I mean, if they're not
when
gonna
it's
hurt
on dis-
Thomas
there it
back,
is.
Then why
Wait.
don't we just kill?
Did you see it in the very corner?
Miss Bayard,
Sorry, the
no one
thing was
takes
in the
you
way.
seriously.
I don't know who that was. And it was had the seat glove on, so it was someone who was gonna do the rise up the
Who do you want at your wedding? Who do you want at your wedding?
Bible,
Who do you want
maybe.
at your
I don't know.
Ring, ring, ring. Who's this? Oh, that's wonderful. I'll tell him. She said she's going. Ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Who's this? Who?
That was like a very uncly laugh.
Who gave you my number? What? Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. I'll tell him. She said she's going.
Oh my god.
Ring, ring. Oh, you again. Uh-oh. She said she canceled. What's this? Oh no. She canceled.
I'm not going anywhere. And there are smarter ways to get
I
people
love
to do
seeing
what you
Joan.
want.
Look at Joan just
He said he wasn't going anywhere.
Joan mouthing along with
And
the
there are smarter ways to get people to do what
They're
you
so
want anyway.
He said
great.
he wasn't going anywhere.
And then look at this. Okay, this laugh.
So funny.
Look how cute that is. I know they're like way older than me and whatever. They're adorable and they're really cute, and I know they can be rude. I just like it, okay? Get off my ass.
Oh my gosh, I will kill both of you with my bare hands.
Oh, speaking of which, I came out of non-binary recently. So my name's Pen,
Fleece cum.
and I go by they them.
Fleece cum. Holy shit. Fleece cum. Holy shit. Fleece cum. Fleece cumpleaños. That's kind of funny.
This water's disgusting. Your hair is so rich.
My hair is so Clinton-y.
Didn't like that. I hate to say it, but the defendant is guilty. Excuse me. I meant you're free.
Only. Yeah, I feel.
Jeez.
Oh.
Just sneeze, and that's going to be a unique experience. But instead, you just sneeze all over the person.
My butterfingers.
Where does Spider-Man's nose go? Like, there isn't a no-
Holy shit.
Wait. Let's pause that for a second. First of all, let me finish my thought. Where's Spider-Man's nose? The normal Spider-Man outfit, like, I saw, like, the Thomas wearing the cheap Spider-Man outfit. You can see the nose sticking out. Where's Spider-Man's nose? I demand answers, Marvel, but also patent moans.
What a silly thing. Butterfingers. Holy shit. There is something interesting to be said about all of this.
Not gonna.
Phases.
Just
is there?
had to replay that for a second.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, we're in for it, boys. Here we go. Buckle up. We're on the Logan Course of Education.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Guess I
you
won't
still got a little bit
read
of purple in the hair at this point.
I will form my own team. I'll call it the Low Gang. What?
Would you agree to a law that bans children from letting their it's probably up to the kids.
I'm rubber, you are glue. Whatever you say bounces off and sticks to me. Switch that around, and then you're burned. Whoever burned the Library of Alexandria, your mom's a hoe.
I just recently, like, learned the history of the Library of Alexandria, and I didn't think it was as bad as it was, but Jesus, it is. It's so sad.
Comes to life. It comes to life magic.
This isn't...
With
A lot of these aren't even, like,
dancing in our
bloopers. That's just what he says.
Led by Rudolph the Red-Nosed Rain. Get up early in the morning to unwrap all of those presents. Brought to you by Sanders Claus. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Ben! Uncle Ben! Ben is gone.
No, man. Yeah, exactly.
You have to accept that. Do I smell some bull? I think it's coming from you. Thomas, I heard you loud and clear. Got 4 ears. 2 of them are huge. Patton, holy shit, what happened to you? Oh my god. Somebody help. Rest easy, little one. You are the future. Virgil, do that. Do that. Make that. Do that. Make that face you make.
I didn't know who was saying this at first, but it's Nate Beagle, because I couldn't even tell who the voice was, because it was just a bunch of bleeps.
Planner barely knew her.
Not at all. Little ring sounded like a fart. What do I do? After exhibit A for A, look at this nerd. Crispity, crunchity, peanut buttery. That's a stupid motto. And that's the tease, sis.
That's me. Uploading
Uploading myself. Still, the way he says uploading, I will never be okay with it. Why does he say uploading? Answers, Thomas.
Pretty cool.
Is that how you say uploading? Is that a Florida thing? Makes me mad.
Darn it, it was gonna be cool.
He just still threw his hand back in.
Could you imagine if that shattered? Well, this sucks. What does the judge even do? Did you see how I landed that? Did you see how I landed that?
You can tell, like, my favorite ones are the ones where they just, during the line, they just don't at all change the tone of voice while they continue with the blooper.
Did I unplug the entire microphone? I did. Oh, got your nose. I'm gonna keep
your
Hey,
nose.
no, give it back.
No, I'm gonna give it back.
Oh, thank you.
You are in control of. You are.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh.
That was my elbow.
Don't hug me. I'm scared.
Alright, let's move on.
Oh shit, you okay?
Of course they have a
Thomas, I
ukulele
held my
there.
opinions for too
They're a
long, and it's
ukulele type
clearly,
group.
Obviously, that I can't get this line. Virgil's just over here going, yeah, you're right. You've really buttoned yourself up in the past. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Logan,
What?
suck my D.
Okay, well.
I saw someone animate that with the actual character.
What I would have gotten when I was
Really?
in high school. If I was into fedoras, it would have been a leopard print one.
It's gonna be a.
It doesn't even fit my f***ing head.
Do you have any relevant information in regards to Thomas again? Everything's slurring together.
Guessing no. Scared them so freaking bad.
Baseline.
That they wet those same pants that they put them back in wet. The development of a life management.
Do you need to like match your teeth color to the fangs that you get?
Still hasn't picked out a
Wonder how
candy bowl
expensive
for
that
next
is.
year's trick-or-treaters.
They're not. He doesn't plan on objecting to their union as part of their
Concerning our today marks another issue. Work. I want a sex machine for addiction.
Ew.
Mama made me murder the mice. Murder.
I should
the
do that
mice.
before I record.
How many pickles can Jack pickle? What's that? Still written.
It's the most common. What?
Real classy of you to
How did you
sneak
just
up on
not
a sign
know?
in the middle of housekeeping. I'm gonna burn
I like the suggestion raid for that spider. Like when
such a bitch.
Thomas
Come again.
asked
Like
for
the mean girl.
I'm a shady bitch. I don't
I
like
love
that kind of
calling
thing at all.
deceit bitch. Thomas asked at like the 4th of July live stream about how to like what to name the spider, and one of the suggestions was raid, and I love it so much.
Beautifully manicured. I think I get it. I think I get it.
That one's quite a doozy.
No, you don't. You let me. This is my time. I have been here for the last 2 videos where you have been off doing whatever. You go and you have your little Christmas celebration because that was the last time we saw you was f***ing Christmas. And now you just waltz in here and I'm like, I'm gonna talk about feelings. Come in here and turn everybody into puppets. Bullshit. Sorry, Thomas. It's bullshit. Oh, okay. We did a script rewrite. My new line is.
I love that
What?
joke.
Do you ever feel like a paper bag? I don't know why I sang it like a paper bag. Do you ever feel like a tiny baby corpse? Scoodly-doo-doo, scoodly bow, taking action into my own powers. Lies, 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 lies. One.
I would love it.
Singular.
Why is the kitchen light on?
Do-do-do-do-do-do. You're a bunch of nerds. He did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It's too darn hot.
Too darn hot, as my man Cole Porter says.
You know, if Logan really wanted to do an accurate Frankenstein's monster costume, he would have made him really hot and tall with some stitches. But like,
Put the tape on.
I feel like he was going as inaccurate as possible simply to show Roman how ridiculous he is.
Something in my throat there. I didn't. Only the bestest, mostest, dynamicest duo in the entire do-over. How is treating their time as valuable belittling them? Are you feeling belittled? Comment below if you're feeling belittled.
Comment below if you're feeling belittled. Are you feeling belittled? Comment below if you're feeling belittled.
Are you feeling belittled?
Are you feeling belittled? I'm gonna try. I always have to try it with him.
Are you feeling belittled?
Are you feeling belittled? Comment below if you're feeling belittled. I think I might have got it.
I can't do it. Her not being there doesn't change the fact that it doesn't. Doesn't change the fact that it doesn't change the fact, and you can't argue those facts.
So they call a trainer a sneaker, a jumper a sweater, and a few minutes of Quibi? Yep. A strange country.
Oh, sorry. Oh, what? Right in the nose. Oh, my noggin. What? Ow! Ow!
It cut me right in the cheek.
You shithead. Ow!
Why are they doing it so close? The hands are in there.
So do you mind if I shit on the floor? But
Please,
Roman said,
actually don't.
and I quote, you are a bitch. All right, let's just start over here. What better a costume for moi than zombie royal toi? That's true. I mean, scary. Whoa.
Hey, I'm the boss applesauce.
Yes, the
Very
was
Roman
talking
thing.
backwards, and I was saying, hello. Lemony, Cricket, and Jiminy Snicket. What accent am I using right now? Lemony Snicket and Jiminy Snicket. Oh, Lemony, Jiminy. Hold on, I got it this time. Lemony, Jiminy, Crickety, Snippet. Oh my God. There is something interesting to be said of all about Eve. I'm the one who sees to it that Mordor be kept away from the elves and the hobbits. But my costumes always felt short. I felt short compared to everybody else. They were so tall. I was 8, so it kind of makes sense in hindsight. But we're gonna keep it that way. Defense? Sorry, I laughed in the middle of that.
When you're 8, it's not called cosplay, it's called, you know, Halloween. This is scary how accurate this is.
I don't suppose there's anything that I could do to make it up for you.
We're almost done.
Rain goes to plants, plants feed animals, plant-eating animals feed human animals.
I don't know where that
Plant-eating
came
animals
from.
feed animal-eating animals, and humans inject corn into animals. Holy shit. Humans feed animals corn and inject them with human. Oh my god. Humans feed animals corn and inject them with human.
Rain goes to plants, plants feed animals, plant-eating animals feed animal-eating animals, and humans inject animals with corn. Wait. No, wait. That whole thing is harder than I thought. Wait. Rain goes to plants, plants feed animals, plant-eating animals feed animal-eating animals, and humans feed animals corn and inject them with hormones until they can barely walk anymore. Okay. I sort of got it.
Until they can't barely walk anymore. Oh my gosh, I get that one down. That felt really good.
It's so weird. Just a big forehead and this small chin. Totally throws off the whole perspective.
Thick green patina of paint over my entire face.
Whoa!
Right? Alphabet.
So here's Thomas's wrist post emo dog. It looks like you're a fry cook at a restaurant and you just like shoved the spatula right on
Oh
the
my god. Free! Free at last!
You're dedicated to your craft. Proud of you.
Thank you. Peace out!
Bye!
Yeah, okay. We were so ready.
I wonder what this take was supposed to be for, like this camera angle. I wonder if that was actually supposed to be in the script and just didn't end up there. And that's another instance of deceit using the double bird.
Never see the light of day.
Just
And that is it. I
needs to
hope you
contain
guys
those
had a kick
things.
out of that And enjoyed that buffet of buffoonery. Love alliteration. It's so good. You know, mistakes are all part of the creative process.
Okay.
But it
I'm
is
getting
still
pretty
fun to look
tired,
back on them
and
laugh at
my
ourselves.
mom's gonna be back
There's still
in
other
about
videos that we haven't even looked at.
an
Plenty
hour.
more mistakes
So yeah, I
that
have
we're
time
moving
for
forward. So, another bloopers video
the
is
40-minute
for sure.
intrusive thoughts episode.
Until that time, take it easy, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Peace out.
Okay, so think about this episode. You know how it's 40 minutes? I think I've watched this episode more times than I have any other Sandersides episode. Yeah, and it's the 40-minute one, the 41-minute one. Because, okay, so I watched it a few times on its own. I watched it, and then I watched, like, a ton, like, every reaction video I could find to it. And then I rewatched some of those reactions that I found to it. By the way, this gum is called Vibes, and I keep saying, oh, I'm gonna pop a vibe. It's great. But, yeah, this episode is absolutely my favorite because it's got Remus, my child, my baby, my darling, in it. And you're gonna tell Oh yeah, if you watch my only actual reaction video I have on here so far, the one that I reacted to this first Sanders Asides, when you saw me react to Remus, it was just unfiltered, just love and admiration, and I just love my boy so much. Fun fact, first time I watched this episode, I hated it so much. I hated Remus so much. He made me so uncomfortable. My toes were curling. Second time through, I'm like, okay, this guy's fine. Then third time through, after I'd seen some fan art and stuff, I couldn't get enough of him. I could not get enough of this episode. I love him so much now. I don't know what happened.
The health of your baby's skin starts with the Pampers they're in.
Everyone freaked out when they saw this. Just like, you'd think, like, blood and gore, death, sexually. Everyone's like, I'm in a Sanders Sides video, right? Is that what I clicked on?
Before we get rolling, this video is brought to
Oh,
you
by the way,
by Hello.
about the religious I actually should do this while going through this
You jealous of this,
ad.
bro? Well, now you
About the religious commentary. I'm not religious, but I did like the and I did like understand the commentary, and I did
Just go to HelloFresh.com
think about
and enter the promo code
so that's something that I won't be able to comment on that much because I'm not religious.
Pick your own. Back to
But
your regularly scheduled program.
the general themes and stuff I can relate to because I do have intrusive thoughts sometimes.
Video. Get ready? No.
That's actually something I can relate to. Is I do get intrusive
I'm awesome,
thoughts.
and I can do this.
Nothing too like violent or like scary, but just ones that just make me go, huh, and my toes curl, and I need to think about something else.
What is up, everybody? How are you all doing? Comment below, because the human connection will make me feel like a person again. What? Sorry, that one was supposed to stay up here. Help me. Oh, there I go again. I'm just really tired. Can't talk because of the tires.
Poor
I just
Thomas.
Couldn't get to sleep last night, and I think with that new addition, that brings the grand total to everything. Everything is going wrong in my life.
Such an off-putting start to the video.
Even my thoughts are starting to go wrong. Oh, come on, no! No, what are you talking about? Sorry, let's talk about something else. Yeah, let's. Uh-oh! Here comes the noblest Roman of them
You can see
all.
Patton's theme like overshadowed the Virgil's super fast.
What? Yo, what? Nothing else. There's nothing.
Yeah, now I can totally.
Just talking about
Now I know their
and
theme
never
songs.
anything else.
They do have like music that comes along with them.
Wait, are you all seriously not gonna let me in on what's going on here?
I never paid attention to like the background sound when they come up.
Singing to myself, 'cause I'm not uncomfortable at all. Secrets are no fun.
Tell me now, or else we're done.
done.
I love all of Roman's sayings,
You don't want to know unless you want to be
especially.
troubled. I do. Mystery loves company.
Nah, it's still coming up.
It's misery loves company. Not for me, it's not. I am not feeling any
The
love
saying
or
the.
misery
I'm
because
gonna.
it's a mystery
Of course,
to
I'm gonna
me
say along
alone.
with.
I have yet to receive my invite to the pity.
Right here. Thomas,
come on.
come on. You can't have a ball without a prince.
Leave it alone, Roman. Seriously.
That's a great saying.
I can't believe you're making me do this. What do you need? Logan, do you know why everyone is so moody bemoans? Oh, goodness. Are they still disconcerted? That's putting it a little lightly, Logan. Or your reaction is a little too extreme.
If anyone
Well,
wants
that's easy for you to
Remus
say, so I
Angst,
wouldn't
let
have been
me
easy to say.
plug
With
my
an 8-word sentence, that's
AO3
unaffected
again.
voice. What
I
he
have one
means
called
is that
Graying, and
you're
it's
not
my
a good
favorite thing I've ever
reaction,
written,
he's
and it's
getting
about,
an
it's like
Your
a
most
set in like the
extreme reaction
actual,
is an eyebrow raise.
in like the, or like around current day,
There's the one for today.
but it shows like how Remus became how he is, how he got his gray hairs, this whole thing.
What are you talking about? Look, I barely got any sleep. That's the best joke my creativity's got. But seriously.
The whole thing about, yeah, it's hard for me to react to this video also because I got myself so burnt out on it when I first watched it, so that like when I watch it again, it just my emotions are just so dull because I've just watched it so much.
You guys are acting fishy.
I've thought everything to think about it.
Alright, so I'm acting fishy. So sushi. I mean, sue me.
Don't act like that was an accident.
Everybody, Virgil, let's give it up for
The
the
perp
perp
man.
Just tell me, blurt it out if it'll be easier, like ripping the sword from the stone. That was canonically not easy.
Yes, only Arthur.
I'm gonna
was able
try
remove the
to
sword.
sync up
Maybe
the
odds
introduction
be never in
song
our favor. But this
with the
isn't
lag
the
that I
sword
already
you
have.
You mean the
So I'm
sword
gonna look at the
stone? Why don't
viewfinder.
you
I'm
read the
gonna
book
try
see
and
if
sync
you
my
spell me
lips,
correctly?
my lagging
I
lips
guess
with
Disney was more faithful than
the
most.
song that I'm hearing.
What I mean is that talking
We'll see
about this shouldn't be
if
as
it works.
impossible as liberating the sword from its ferric prison. I don't understand why we must prohibit any and all discussion about the intrusive.
Please
I'm
stop.
gonna
Seriously,
prohibit your
please.
breathing
I
if you keep
really
this
don't
up.
want to think about it.
You know exactly.
I memorized the
what
whole
you
song.
want. But Logan, if you continue to push this, we're gonna end up in really dangerous territory. Push what exactly? I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
I
Logan just
can't
doesn't see the
condone
issue.
any more of
Not everyone
that
can counter
kind
dark
of
sides like a
thinking.
boss,
Please,
Logan.
Just listen to us.
And you can see
This time. We're
Virgil's
going to
getting like
talk
super
about something
stressed.
else now,
Whenever they bring up the
okay?
dark sides, Virgil
What
just
are we
gets
talking
super
about?
stressed.
2005's Just Like Heaven, starring Mark Ruffalo and Reese Witherspoon.
Sure. Oh.
The whole
great
thing about
flick.
Virgil not wanting to be part of the dark sides because dark sides equals hurting Thomas, and the whole thing is like he wants to denounce any way that the dark sides get contact with Thomas because he's afraid that will mean that Thomas is a bad person if Thomas listens to them at all. But it's a Yerkes-Dotson thing! I don't know if Yerkes-Dotson is specifically for anxiety, but it works for all of the sides.
My joke. You hijacked my joke.
I've said that so many times.
Forgot about that movie.
Yeah, this spooked me.
Imagine killing your brother. How is she a ghost if she's not dead? Perhaps she was.
I didn't get that was related to
Or maybe
killing Roman. I thought that was just a random intrusive thought.
It was an out-of-body experience.
These little thingies! I didn't realize that was actually related to hitting Roman over the head. I didn't even connect those two. I thought it was just a random intrusive thought, but yeah.
Ghost baiting. Of course she wasn't a ghost.
There's the boy! It terrified me when I first saw him, but what a kiddo.
I resent that. Ghosts aren't evil. They just scare people because you never know when they're gonna show up. Okay, I take
Just
that
seeing him gives him the echoey voice. I finally figured out that that's because of a green screen that they were able to do that. I didn't realize how they were able to do it at first because it's clearly not split screen.
It's the dude.
It's him!
Okay. Care to explain
My
further?
baby!
What is he doing here? Oh, I just love showing up where I'm not invited.
Oh, I hated his voice so much when he first heard it. Gosh, I was like, do I have to listen to this for the rest of this episode?
From the beginning.
It's time to step up, prep up.
Step up, prep up.
Okay. We're gonna try this. Adam and Eve bought knowledge for the small price of a little sin. They also lost eternal life, but what's fruit without the pits?
Don't have this.
I am the Duke, and it's high time that I dropped in. And since you haven't puked yet, you'll know they're wrong when they call you sick. It's unicorn porn and dragon tails, Roman's dull creativity. If you want the spectrum made to see, then you'll need a little help from me. Unicorn porn to rats and bears. Yeah. If you really want to check out John, you want shit. I can't do his voice, so it just has to be normal voice. Okay, so apparently due to the bloopers, he actually smashed a goddamn plate over his head. I thought that was like props. Apparently, I don't know, it looks like an actual plate. Just cause I'm honest. Good and bad is all made up nonsense, bro. I'm gonna whip your butt. Do you promise? Thomas, speaking of honesty, recently a snake offered me a morsel from the tree of knowledge. He said you're wanting to be more honest and be direct dealing with your issues. No longer will you deceive yourself about the ugliness within you. I love that part. I gasped so much seeing that one. Because it's like, it confirms that Deceit is a part of this, and this is what I think this is like plan B for Deceit. Everybody dies. That motion is still my header for Tumblr. Just this. Like, it's so fluid and so nice. Decency. You see this house on fire? I see it too, cause you got a fiend in me. So stop your feet and stop your hands. I can't go. I can't do it now. When all your loved ones leave. I promise I can sing, just not while I'm doing a reaction.
Your grandma choking on a lozenge. Your pet dog stuffed into a sausage. These sorts of
Just
things are
dead-eyed leaving. I love it.
soul is truly rotten, so let all your hopes of heaven be
Look at him doing a shimmy shams. He's a shimmy boy.
it's in hell.
Yes, I'm disregarding literally everything he's saying in the song because look at him. He is baby.
Introducing Botanica, home fragrances with exotic pairings. Warm vanilla and Himalayan magnolia.
He's just a little stinky is all.
Honey blossom. And responsible.
That was horrible and horribly unhelpful. Look, Mr. Duke, I'm really stupid right now. Just tell me who you are. Simply.
Why, I'm your creativity.
No.
That threw me.
That's
That threw me
Roman.
when I heard that.
Also me, though.
What? Roman is sort of like Netflix kids and family.
That just threw off like literally everyone's
You want to,
like ideas of like the whole like complementary colors thing.
Juicy butthole.
The whole thing about like how it's really doesn't really though. It's just really how does Virgil fit in? That's what throws everybody. But based on like Remus's existence, the theories kind of get mixed up about everyone having a dark side and everything.
Come on, Thomas. There are different kinds of creativity. Just take Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, acid, brain, sex, zombies, there's...
Let me stop you right there. Jeffrey Dahmer was not.
This caused me to read the entire Jeffrey Dahmer Wikipedia page, which is quite an experience.
Shut it down, Thomas.
You should do no such thing. You cannot force the Duke to retire a topic of conversation.
Yeah, repression can be very bad indeed. I mean, just take Jeffrey Dahmer. He used to have these pretty funny thoughts about torturing animals. But you know, he hated them. He thought they were horrible. And
Yeah, I did not notice the teeth on Remus's outfit,
lot of good that did him.
It didn't
but
do him any good.
Yeah.
when people point him out, that's
doesn't do
just the
anybody
greatest little
any
touch. I really feel like
Doesn't work.
they ordered fake teeth, and they used the teeth for Logan spitting out the teeth, but then they realized they had extra teeth, and they're like, let's just glue them onto this outfit.
Repetitive said thought becomes.
Jeffrey Dahmer!
Stop! I will begrudgingly forego the scientific method for a quicker, simpler replication of the experiment. Patton, we will need you to talk about anything you
It's
want
both
for the
refreshing
next
and
minute.
terrible how freeing this episode was to the mature themes
Done and done.
Oh, great.
of these videos, because ever since then they've gotten more free with like, you know, doing like mature content on the channel and like more censored swears and all that.
Start talking whenever.
And it's kind of, I think this is kind of like more sort of like a coming out saying like, yeah, the stuff on this channel is going to be a little bit more adult from now on, because, you know, I'm 30 years old.
Good save. Who lived in a condominium. Okay, Logan, has it been a minute yet? Not even close. But you did exactly what I needed you to do.
Did a real good job.
You know, you took some creative liberties, but I give you my blessing.
In Wagner's experiments, subjects were asked to speak about whatever they wanted, with only one caveat. They were not
Also, this is hard to watch over and over again because most of it is just, you know, Logan explaining things, and if you already know the things, then just Logan talking, and that's...
So I can't stop him.
I only rewatched it over and over just for Remus. That shows how dedicated I am to Remus.
You are not creativity.
Yeah, that is the brave, handsome, unbeatable Roman. Creativity is about...
I wanted to see Remus's reaction to that, saying like, "You're not creativity. Creativity is Roman, who's better than you."
Me? Scary?
And that's what most of the angst is about, is like comparing him to his
That
brother,
sounds like a you problem.
or talking about the split and stuff.
Or a him problem.
Thomas, like it or not, the Duke does encompass a portion of your imagination.
Yeah, the graying fanfic I talked about first was like it starts at the split at like age like 5.
Demented. Why are you defending him? I'm not. I'm just trying to be intellectually honest with Thomas.
Yeah, sounds like bullshit. This dork's deceit in disguise. No! What? Again? Deceit? Show yourself!
No, it's actually me.
I knew that. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm a little silly.
Then why are you lying? Lying? You just said the Duke is Thomas's imagination.
Yeah, unlike a certain potty mouth in this room, imagination is good. Did you guys know that dork means whale penis? I call Logan a whale penis, is what I'm saying.
Thomas,
I did not know
you have
that
to
before this
understand that
episode.
Life is not so black and white, as they say.
But the Duke and the Prince literally wear the black and the white.
Yes, but they're your sides. That's how you see them.
That's not the only way he sees me. You know what, please
Joan.
leave Joan out of this.
Oh, what's that?
That is something Joan would do.
Why would I even have two creativities anyway? Why isn't Roman all-encompassing?
Because of your view of creativity and imagination as a purely good force. At a young age,
This is what's weird. I don't know if this means that they
either welcome
that they split
this
or
led to the
that
development of two
they
separate
developed
sides of
separately.
your creativity.
if there was
So
ever actually one
my
main creativity that
split
split.
into what?
Into a butthole?
Because he says that they split, but then they said they filed them away as two different
Like an
things.
oval. The Duke is like Roman's
If
twin.
maybe
The
rather than a
embodiment
split,
of
it's just
that
Roman,
imagination,
and then
which
once
is
bad things
primarily
start happening, it
experienced
starts
by you
becoming
via
Remus.
intrusive
I don't
thoughts.
know.
You made me this way, Thomas. I was the unloved brother from the Genesis. Roman and I are Cain and Abel.
Yeah, because you
Your
murdered
butts want
him.
to explore more mature ideas in your content.
What is it with you and butts?
Hey, prude, your art is bad.
You're attacking my livelihood now? Thomas's friends and family is one thing, but his
I
work
really like how he does like the
is
Roman
nothing
pose, but
sacred.
on the other
Yeah,
side.
What about my friends and family?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do wish though that
Did
the
you
sash went the other way.
your creativity? Obviously, I have opinions on the matter.
But are they opinions that matter?
Especially if they're hurting you. For someone who prefers salty flavors, your videos are rather saccharine. What will your legacy be? Will you even have one? How about this? You get buck naked on camera and self-immolate to Taylor Swift Shake It Off. Now,
That's-
that'll leave an impression.
That's probably the most
I
intense
hate
line or
him.
one of
I
them.
hate him. Haters gonna hate.
But it's such a good joke.
My legacy is subjecting people to
I love
something
that
they
one.
didn't want to see.
Why not? That's life. People see and
His
hear it.
mustache, like, isn't even a mustache. Like, you would think it would be even like just like a swirly kind of
But
like
I
snively little. No, it's just a shit stain. It's just straight up a shit stain.
You wanna rock the cradle, Daddy?
With
Rock
little
the
curlies
cradle
on the
in
end.
treetop?
Why is the cradle in a treetop? No one knows. Irresponsible parenting.
Or do you want to be the wind that causes the cradle to fall? And then the baby dies.
That's horrible.
Look, pleasant metaphors aren't really my strong suit.
You have a strong suit?
I do, my birthday suit.
Okay. Well,
Okay, new metaphor. Nudging the baby bird to leave the nest and take flight. Okay, there! Yes! That's it! Oh, maybe there's hope for you after all!
Wait for it.
And the baby bird immediately flies
Oh, wait,
straight
here's
into
his
the
laugh.
jet turbine and
You know, they all have different laughs, I said.
crashing down.
His is just an insane, like, evil sort of
What is your deal?
unhinged
What is my
laugh.
deal? Bitch, what is your deal? I'm your creativity. What does that say about you?
My deal? Thomas doesn't have a deal.
If I have a deal, then Thomas has a deal. Deal or no deal? Roman is Thomas's creativity too, so... Do I need to remind you of what Thomas was thinking about last night? I just did
Okay, I
what
saw this really cool
do
theory
best.
about
Thomas
that
is
the
size.
intrusive thoughts were
If
about
I am awful,
killing
then so is Thomas.
Lee and Mary
Not
Lee.
all thoughts have some profound meaning behind them.
Because,
Some
like, that would kind of tie it all together and
Virgil,
make him,
you've
the
never
intrusive
been
thoughts,
one
be
to
more
soften the
related
truth.
to the
Why would you aspire to be
to
so
the wedding, and it would
bored?
show
Those thoughts
uh,
weren't
how Thomas
So
was,
what?
like,
Thomas thought
felt
someone else's
guilty
thoughts?
about
Do we have ourselves a classic case
the
of
whole wedding
brain
thing and
swap?
had it on his mind and the whole thing.
Maybe. He's right.
Really?
Not you. The Duke.
What?
The reality is, you thought those thoughts, Thomas.
Oh no. Oh no. is Thomas a bad person? Why do you keep asking
That's the
that?
thing,
We
is
still
like,
haven't gotten
that was actually a
any
whole thing I had.
He hasn't acted on any of the...
That was one of the theories I had, and I lost the theories from now, so I should probably just say it now, because I don't know when the Orange Side is coming out, and I was planning on doing it like when I thought the Orange Side was going to come out, but I'd rather just say it now. The whole thing about the Orange Side is, I think it might be like a final boss, and this whole thing about being a bad person, I feel like the Orange Side is going to be the bad person, or that Thomas doesn't want to be, or the person Thomas wants to be, or would be like ideally, and it's like the perfect person, or either the perfect person or the person that Thomas feels like he can't be because he's a bad person, and I feel like the Orange Side is going to be self-loathing or self-hatred, and he's like the final boss. And all of this leads up to, is Thomas a bad person? And it's, I guess technically that's sort of like Patton and Virgil, but like it's kind of like coming to terms with like who, like, I guess sort of like unachievable goals, or more of like a just guilt. Maybe it's just guilt, just feeling like this is what I should be, or this is what I shouldn't be, and this is like just the very essence of yourself being wrong, the feeling of that. So yeah, like self-loathing, self-hatred, guilt, any of that. I like that idea.
thoughts yet, so at least
But also he
there's
doesn't have
that.
any anger,
But
so I
there's
think it might just be
definitely
anger.
something wrong with
Something like that.
it.
And I saw someone's
He's not
version
naturally a good
of
person.
Orange Side being a, I don't know whose it was, but it was like a punk Orange Side of anger, which I really love because it shows that Orange is like, because it shows like Orange is, because Punk is like, Thomas is always, the times we've seen Thomas angry were about like people not being treated fairly, stuff like that, like political type stuff, which is like very Punk in its like, in its essence, is being upset about, you know, fascism, inequality, stuff like that. So I really like the idea of it being Punk, and they had the animal as a wasp, which I really like. It's just anger.
You wish he was, Patton.
But Thomas always tries to put others before himself. We've all seen it.
Yeah, he can act like a good person, just like Deceit can act like you. But we've also seen that doing what he thinks is right can be pretty difficult for him.
Okay, you two are blowing this way out of proportion.
Logan, I'm sorry, but
Thomas can't logic his way out of this one. Facts are
You
facts,
sure
and
about
the
that?
fact is, Thomas had twisted thoughts that a stable person would never have. Actually, a
Yeah,
stable
the
person,
stable
as you
person.
put it, could absolutely have those thoughts.
shut your mouth or I'll tear off your nipples and shove them up your nose.
Okay, so
Now kiss!
we just have to fake it till we make it? Ooh, like how Thomas is going to imagine making a sandcastle out of Joan's ashes until he actually gets to do it.
Stop!
No, like how you fake being good at something until you are. And this something is being a good person. But how do you fake not thinking about something?
Yeah, didn't we try that earlier when we talked about Just Like Heaven?
Look at him. You can see I'm planning on doing something
Trying to distract yourself from those unwanted thoughts.
naughty.
You seem to have created a mental connection between
Bringing up the-
2005's Just Like Heaven and last night's intrusive thoughts that wouldn't have otherwise existed.
Oh, I'm here with the main characters from Just Like Heaven. David Abbott and Elizabeth Masterson. And I can do with them as I please.
That doesn't look like Mark Ruffalo, does it?
You bastard. Okay, you can't pretend that that isn't happening.
Do I have the
I'm about
person
to
who is... Do I have, like,
smash
Mark
the whole
Ruffalo
pot.
wrong?
You can pretend on the outside.
What does that even mean?
As long as these kinds of thoughts stay in Thomas's head. Turn into a ghost! Then that's good enough for now. Turn into the Hulk! Patton, of course they would stay in my head.
Yeah,
Why
the
would I
licking.
want
I was so
any
excited to see the
physical
bloopers of that. It's
You
just
tell
Thomas
us
just
you're the
blushing
one
and being
who's
like, I'm
thinking
so
about it.
sorry,
Why
I'm
do they
licking
make
you.
him throw
I
the
knew there was going to be a blooper about that, and there
Little
was.
piece of a baby and a large, sharp knife.
Not acting on every thought that he has isn't faking.
So someone
anything.
turned that into a meme about,
I
like,
can't think of how one would fake not doing
angst with your
something
favorite
other than, like, doing
characters.
something and hiding seeing that they're doing
The
it.
team
Ooh,
giving
how
like
fun.
potential
You know who
angst
could help us with that?
opportunities.
One of you is enough.
No, you guys aren't understanding me. They would stay in Thomas's head because he would pretend like he never had the thoughts in the first place.
So we're back to repression then.
Logan said that that doesn't work. That's what repression is?
Well, what other options do we have?
Virgil, I don't want to do what he says.
You mean you don't want to act on what you think? Virgil,
No! Do you want to act on everything that you
Virgil.
think?
Looks like Logan has reached his listening to others limit for the day.
This is not about me wanting to be listened to. You all are not listening to Thomas. What he's saying is worth noting.
But what if he's lying?
I can assure you he's not. You're just expressing
That's
unhealthy
2 times
no.
I think that
Sir, thank
someone's
you for
almost
being
said
on board.
paranoid and
But
then
for
stopped
now, you
themselves
must listen.
in front
You
of
have to believe me,
Virgil.
George. Patton, I am not
Like
at all
vigilant,
enticed by
vigilant. I just made up a
anything
word.
the Duke is saying.
Roman stopping himself, and then there was
do
Logan
not
right there.
Identify with anything about him. Dress me up however you want, Thomas. I can be
He
vocal
really looks
if
like a
I
sleazy porn star, like
Psychologist Dr.
90s
Norman
porn star.
Epstein once said, "If a
I know
thought
that was
like
in the
pops
bloopers,
into
but
your head,
I
you're
so
not
agree.
bothered by it at all, that could be a problem. Does Thomas seem bothered to you? He does.
But what about Jeffrey Dahmer?
That was a clip that I really like. You could tell that it wasn't like Remus being impulsive there when he said, "But what about Jeffrey Dahmer?" Remus was looking dead at Virgil as he said, "But what about Jeffrey Dahmer?" Like he was either making Virgil say it or he was trying to say it to show Virgil that he knew he was thinking it, to convince Virgil that they're similar. You know what I'm saying? Like the way he said it.
Bothered too. He certainly was bothered.
Wait, let me
As
see
a
if I can.
child, and he outgrew those feelings. Thomas is still distraught by his forbidden thoughts as an adult. Furthermore, Jeffrey Dahmer,
Wait.
Dr. Norman Epstein once said, "If a thought like that pops into your head, but you're not
Let me pause
bothered
it
by
here.
it at all, that could be a problem." Does Thomas seem bothered to you? He does.
But what about Jeffrey Dahmer?
Ah, dang it.
Problem. Does Thomas seem bothered to you? He does.
Wait. Wait. Sorry.
What about Jeffrey Dahmer?
Right here. Here he is. You could see, like, he's not being impulsive. You can see he's looking at Virgil. He's matching what Virgil's saying on purpose to show him that he knows what he's going to say and he's a step ahead.
Dahmer.
And you can
He was
see
pretty bothered too.
see
He
what you
certainly
just
was
said.
bothered. As a
See how we
child,
said it at the
and
same
he
time?
outgrew those feelings. Thomas is still distraught by his forbidden thoughts as an adult.
Look how
Furthermore,
similar we are.
Jeffrey Dahmer
See,
went on
you're
to
still
murder
one of
innocent
us.
people. Say, how many people have you murdered, Thomas? None.
Well, that can't be where the bar is.
Patton, you of all sides should know that it isn't. Thomas, you're a religious man, correct?
Yeah, but there have been plenty of bad religious people throughout history.
Well, I cannot argue with that. Religion is not perfect, but when it is not abused, piety is just as valid as the innumerable other ways to live a principled
That's
life.
part of like the
To the best
octopus
of your
motif
ability,
too, is like
you
the
try to
blink
live
one
your
eye
life
then
based
blink
on
the
the
other.
moral codes
I
set
think it
by
might
your
be a little
faith,
bit
correct?
something about his
You would not do
octopus
as you would have them do unto you, or
animal.
their neighbor as they self, etc.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not kill is one such principle, but it certainly couldn't be said that that's where the figurative bar has been set. Couldn't all this talk of religion create a connection between Thomas's beliefs and his intrusive thoughts?
Dang, my mom is back.
Giving me ideas. Actually, Virgil, Thomas's faith
I
and
might not
his
talk as much
relationship
now.
with the Duke are and always have been inextricable.
I don't know about all that.
Thomas's Catholic upbringing has instilled in him that thought is a precursor to action. Consider some of the 7 deadly sins: greed, pride, envy, lust, wrath. 5 of the 7 deadly sins are committed in your head.
You know, I
There's
probably
a
could just
reason
pause
why
this
the Duke
and then
has
just
continuously used
continue it
religious
later.
language.
I haven't done that before. I
He's
usually do
playing
it all
to
at
your
once, but I could just stop this and then continue it
Fine
later.
if you
Much later.
Okay, so it's been like 2 weeks or something or more a long time. It's been like, I started this episode of like the rewatch series at the start of the quarantine, and now it's right before this next episode is about to come out, and I really gotta do this now. I've actually, because the episode has been like delayed and has been like, oh, it's really late, and everyone's like kind of like, oh, when is it gonna come out now? I've just been like, whew, it's not coming soon, because I've just been procrastinating this thing so long. It's because I don't like recording when my other family members are in the house, and with, you know, the quarantine, it's really hard to, you know, get a time when I can actually have the house to myself. So my mom is at her boyfriend's house, and then my brother right now is running and walking the dog and stuff. So, okay, so sorry if I repeat some stuff that I said earlier in this episode, because I don't really remember what I said, because it was so long ago, but I'm just gonna finish this up. I'll probably finish this and then finish this and then maybe watch the bloopers video, depending on how long my brother is out of the house.
Relationship with the Duke are and always have been inextricable.
So this is something, when my mom was coming home last time, I didn't really talk about this, but I'm not religious, so this part, it was interesting to see him talk about this stuff, because I'm not part of this, but it is interesting to hear about how he talks about it, considering he is
There's a reason
religious.
why the Duke has continuously used religious language. He's playing to your sensitivities.
It's a really interesting way to think about it.
It's fine if you disapprove of toxic thinking, but you can't banish any and all unpleasant thoughts when there's a constant stream of thoughts going through your head at all times. The Duke was right. What? Not only does repression
Disgusting
not work,
boy.
but it can be very bad indeed. I understand that your natural human reaction when you see something disturbing is to look away, but if you let me
I
examine
don't know if I said this
the Duke's
before, but I do have
contributions,
intrusive
then I could
thoughts, so
expose him
this
for
was a
being
cool episode to me.
unrealistic
I think I did say that when I was talking
and
about how much I like
figuratively
Remus.
Oh, well, if that's what you wanted, Logan, you could have said so.
I love that line.
Figuratively.
The only two people the only two sides I'd ever ship with Remus is Deceit and Logan, and those are the ones you see most often. There's a lot of people doing the Patton and Remus, but like I can only ever see him with.
Okay, then what
A lot of people have talked about if you know a certain snake fact. That's hilarious,
like the
but
cat's out of the ball bag. Despite his best efforts, Virgil could never stop being the bad guy.
Oh, and Patton.
I feel like he's either like
How? He's
resentful of Virgil, and that's why he's being so harsh to Virgil,
It's not
trying to
cool.
get him
What
to
does that
like
mean? Am I cool? Does this make me
rethink
cool? Am I
himself,
cool?
but or if like Deceit give him
Oh
a
my
script or
gosh,
something, but
my teeth. Yeah,
or he
I
just
thought
kind of
you
like
said-
resents
changed
him
my
for
mind. I'm unpredictable like that. I
for
bet that really
leaving and
gets
tries
you,
to
huh,
kind of get to
Logan?
him.
The opposite of rationality. There is no rhyme or reason.
Also,
to what
that
I
that
do. I
tooth
just
thing
do.
freaks
And
me
what I
out.
do is wreak havoc.
I'd say you just reek. Figuratively. Also, literally.
Oh, what do you have to say there?
I mean, yeah, he
Duke? Thank you. Reek is
canonically smells
Well,
like shit.
My deodorant's flavor is pickled poolongs.
Flavor. Deodorants don't
Shit,
have
vinegar,
flavors. You don't eat
and
deodorant.
garbage.
Maybe you don't.
Okay, I got one, guys. Since we call Roman Princey, does that mean we should call you Dookie?
Dookie? I love it. Please do.
Wow. Okay. Well, there really is nothing you can say to him.
Or you
How
could
does
just
the
call me
way
by
he
my name.
moves his face makes the whole structure of his face look different from everyone else? It kind of works for some of them, like it works a little bit among them, but like something about Remus, he just looks different. It might just be the mustache, but just even the way that he like
Never hide anything.
he like uses his mouth, he kind of looks like Bucktooth.
Remus,
The way he like
don't get
moves
to
his
me
face,
in
I don't
the
know, it's
slightest.
weird.
Object impermanence renders you pretty unintimidating. What's so frightening
I made a
about
post
something with
about
no real
Remus
world impact?
actually having object impermanence, and just if someone leaves the room, he thinks they're gone forever and forgets they were ever there in the first place.
You killed him.
He does make it
Jesus.
Does he?
Pretty good special
Yeah,
effects, though. I
would've
love
gotten a
this.
full night's sleep if it weren't for him. Lack of sleep can negatively affect your memory, it weakens your immune system, and it increases your risk of heart disease. And that's only some of the potential side effects.
Right, yeah, exactly. Ooh, maybe I am a little scary.
However,
It's mostly,
your
yeah,
lack of
Virgil
sleep last night was the result
is
of
able to
Virgil's reaction to Remus,
affect
not
Thomas's
Remus
like
himself.
actual health,
So,
which is upsetting.
the Duke only
And
has
it would make
power
him
over
be
you
even more anxious
because
about what he
Virgil
does.
and Patton believe that he does, because you fear him. Without that, he'd have a much harder time hurting you. So what do you?
I don't know what that is
Can
supposed to
we
be.
launch
Like,
it
is he
our way
like
out of this
trying?
one?
Is he being? Because he's kind of just being, his effectiveness is going down, but he doesn't really. His point isn't to keep Thomas from sleeping or anything. His point is to just, you know, get his ideas across, and I don't know what they're actually. I love that shot. It's so cool. I love like the horror stuff, how it's all glitchy. Oh, that's my favorite kind of stuff. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem like it's Remus's goal to hurt Thomas or like make him not sleep or all that. It's just he just wants to make people uncomfortable or just, you know, get across his ideas or just get excited about gross things. And so that's why I think most of why it was set in is like kind of orchestrated by deceit, and I feel like he just kind of went along with it because he likes to cause chaos.
There is no rhyme or reason to what I do. I just do. A scoodly boo. Oh, maybe there is a rhyme.
If you aggressively interrogate Thomas about why the Duke said or did something, then you're only going to hurt Thomas. I mean, look at him now. He barely got any rest, due in large part to you two chastising him.
My chair is so squeaky. I love this part. This part is so true.
Wait, is he gone? No, I think he's gone. Nails on a chalkboard!
If you start thinking about whether or not you got rid of something, they come back. I mess up with that all the time.
Don't do that. Never check to see if you've successfully gotten rid of him.
Why
So fingernails nailed to the chalkboard. Does he mean like fingernails separated from the finger nailed to the chalkboard, or nail through the actual fingertip and fingernail?
Fine. Virgil, how's he doing?
I assume that one because he kind of did that motion, and also that would be more horrifying. So
Skipping a big callback, and he's sleep deprived. So yeah, he feels like a piece of dirt.
I'm so excited for the next episode. It's coming soon,
Okay, yeah, that's.
but the whole callback thing. I'll have some theories that I'll say at the start of the episode when I react to that one. So
Person who doesn't have control over yourself or your destiny.
all the faces Remus makes when the camera just cuts back to him.
Act on these thoughts.
What if you sniffed your dog's butt?
Shut up. I guess that makes sense.
I also like in his recent short about like the spam bots. He had a little like Remus-y voice creeping in. The I'm a bad girl.
Speaking of suggestions,
So he just kind of automatically goes into that voice when he's doing something, you know, disgusting.
Still nothing.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty used to that one.
But to view the Duke's
I've forgotten. I don't usually get like self-harm ones. I get like gross ones.
This issue is more of a matter of
Of course, like that's a separate thing. It's like if you look off a steep ledge and you feel like you want to jump off, but you don't want to. It's not for like a self-harming reason. It's for a just it's like a French something, but it means like Call of the Void, where you like just. What's the greatest impact in my life I can make right at this moment? It would be to jump off this. Not because you want to, but because he could. And I don't know if that counts as an intrusive thought.
These thoughts just happen. And again, the substance of these
I'm gonna look up
thoughts
what that
typically provide
actually is.
no insight into
Nah, never
your
mind.
true
This is
character.
open on my Google thing, so I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Who, despite all of your best efforts,
Everybody tries to regain
refuses to stop screaming on an airplane.
attention.
There's no out. Just accept it. They'll
I feel like Deceit offered him candy if he won,
better address the issue later.
and now he's sad because he's not gonna get any candy. He doesn't seem like he's super devoted to like a purpose. He's just
The other passengers
kind
on the
of
plane might become
there
frustrated.
to just,
And that's
hey,
okay, too.
look, it's Thomas. Hey, look, I
Everything is
exist.
okay.
Wow, that was amazing, Logan.
And you can always talk to someone. Wegner, who I mentioned earlier, as well as psychologist James Pennebaker, found that subjects who talked about their thoughts often felt better emotionally and physically. According to one study, in the United States, Roughly 1 in 50 people suffer from intrusive thoughts.
That number, every time I hear that, it always seems
And if you
too
can't find a
small.
personal friend
I
who
think there's
listens
more
and
than 1 in 50 that
understands,
have intrusive
then you should
thoughts.
consider seeing a professional if the thoughts are really troubling.
I wonder if they have like a
I
specific
don't know.
criteria
If you
that's
had
like
joint
more
problems, you
intense
see a
for like to actually be like
If you have stomach problems,
be
you
like
see a
suffering from intrusive
gastroenterologist.
thoughts like as a
And
mental
therefore, if you have
thing,
mental
because
health
I think
problems, you see
because like there's things like ADHD where you can
for a
experience a bunch of the symptoms, but if they're not to a certain intensity, you don't clinically have ADHD, things like that. Maybe if it's not like your intrusive thoughts are not to a certain extent, then it's not considered intrusive thoughts.
I can't control every little thing that pops into your head. This may be unnecessary, but it's okay if you sometimes think some icky thoughts, Thomas. You have my...
This is where a lot of the unsympathetic Patton stuff came out, because Patton, people are like, oh, he shouldn't have to give him permission. But the thing about Patton is not a separate entity. Patton is Thomas. So, if that's Thomas giving himself permission to think a certain way, it's not an abusive, like, parent or something. That's just a part of Thomas. And he's like, he cares about Thomas because he is part of Thomas, and he wants to make Thomas feel better. It's Thomas making himself feel better. I think the thing about unsympathetic Patton and unsympathetic sides are like, people forget that all of this is Thomas. And sure, they're like given their own characterizations, but even still, all of their goals is for Thomas to like to do what they personally think is best for Thomas in their like part the way that they think, like their goal, like Deceit, that he thinks lying would be best for Thomas and would cause him to be a better person in the way that like he'll care about himself and he'll pay attention to himself, and he thinks that would be best. And then Patton thinks caring about everyone else would cause him to feel better because it causes Patton to feel better, but it doesn't cause everyone to feel better. So they all see very one-dimensional ways of what's right and wrong, and what would make Thomas. So they kind of think what's best for Thomas is what would make them feel the best about Thomas, but that's not the best. They need to figure out how to work with each other, because they need to figure out that like what they think is best is not best really for a human being to function.
Is Thomas all right?
That's a lot of the debates, like the debates between Virgil and Logan and Roman, especially the Logan-Roman one, is like, Roman wanted Thomas to be like,
I believe I was summoned to help address this matter, and it seems
because Roman wanted Thomas to be like adventurous and stuff, and he thought that would make Thomas feel like great, and like make his life the most valuable and everything. And then Logan is like, no, that's dangerous. We want to take care of ourselves and appreciate the life that we were given. That would be what makes Thomas feel best and what makes Thomas's life the best. And clearly both those two things, and even like what Thomas stated in that episode, both those things have their good sides and their downsides, and neither of them could really see that. They both went all in on what they thought was right, and they both thought that they were doing what was best. It's same for Deceit, it's same for... I don't really know about that for Remus, though. I think Remus is just kind of... I don't know, maybe we'll learn more about, like, his intentions later on, but but like, Deceit, Virgil wants to protect Thomas against, what people think of him and, like, against threats. Deceit wants him to think about, like, to pay attention to himself and, like, do what he needs to be a better person for himself. Patton is really enjoys helping other people, so he thinks it will make Thomas feel better to always help other people. Roman wants adventure. He thinks Thomas being the most adventurous he can would be the best for him. And Logan thinks doing, like, the most... like, taking care of yourself, doing the most logical things would make you the best kind of person. And they all have super straightforward ideas of what's best, but just a person with all of these people inside him, he has all of those viewpoints, and he needs to converge them into one, and it's hard for them to do that. They're not people, they're all part of Thomas, so you can't be abusive, well, you can be abusive to yourself, but, like, it's not the same thing. that's the whole thing that I have a problem with, like, unsympathetic Patton and stuff. And I love, of course, you can, like, write that and stuff, but if it's, like, just like, oh, imagine this concept. But I personally, as the concept in canon, I don't think that's possible, really, for a side to intentionally try to harm Thomas in any way. Sorry if I rambled a bit. It's hard for me to get my ideas out.
Your next course of action should be settling into bed for the night to revitalize your immune system as well as your short-term memory. You wouldn't want to forget everything you've just learned.
Logan, thank you.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh, please.
Here it comes.
Just another day's work.
No, seriously, you're
I love Thomas's face when he says it.
cool.
This part's so sweet. Oh my god.
I'll try not to
Made me
pester
so
you too
happy.
much tonight, kiddo. Now, I can't promise that I'll never have another knee-jerk reaction, but I can try to make peace with whatever thoughts dance through your head, whether they be sugar plums or
Smelly bums.
or there.
This
Gross.
was fun. A Thomas sandwich.
I love seeing them. They did really well with the eye line. Usually when they're right next to each other, it's harder on the eye line. I really see them, like, love seeing them together.
Thomas had a dookie problem. Thomas already made a dookie joke. Bye.
I made so many fanfics about just their relationship, brother, like their brotherly like relationship and how they had a. That's like that's probably my favorite like part of their relationships between them. That's my favorite one to like really go in depth and like think about. And I've seen like everyone else kind of was really interested in it too. It's such an interesting idea, just their relationship and how it got that way.
But whatever, you know. He's gone now and he's never coming back.
I feel like they're gonna address that in this next episode.
Virgil?
That meaning him not being able to,
Yeah, I just
trying to like be not something rather than him as his own person, being focused on not being something rather than being what he wants to be.
protect you from them.
And then here it comes. We all knew
I thought
it was coming.
I thought I knew how to handle them. Oh well, I think we're all trying to figure
Handle
them out
them.
now. It'll take some time.
That's an odd
to
wording
figure everything out.
because
Yeah, but I
it seems like
should
they used to
know
be like a
better.
family or
Isn't
like
that kind
friends
of
or something, I
unfair?
assume.
Why should you be
But
held to a different
handle
standard
them.
than any other side?
He must have gotten to a point where he
Because I was
thinks
one
like they're monsters. And that's also a relationship to look into. Of course, yes, very dramatic and
Oh, right.
oh yeah, and here this is why I was saying when I was reacting to the Sanders asides, I'm like they have to address that because the way this episode ends is just
Any of that.
there's no
Did you
closure.
expect
It's
from me?
just
Or-
he says because there's one of them and then he
I
leaves.
know
And
that
there's no
intrusive
way that
thoughts,
couldn't have been
especially
addressed.
intrusive
And it
thoughts
was
like
addressed
me,
like in like a roundabout way
disturbing,
in the
right?
first
Are
Sanders
a
asides.
taboo subject that can be scary to deal with, and sometimes scarier to talk about, even though it's a relatively common phenomenon. It's easy to feel like you've crossed some line and thought the unthinkable, but please, if there's one thing you take away from this video,
I think
Let it
didn't we
be
hear
this.
something about like Thomas
Those
doesn't actually have
thoughts
intrusive
that you
thoughts,
may
but
have thought
Shone does and a few other of the crew
not
do.
define you. We
I
are
don't know if I
thinking
heard that or not,
machines. Your
but
brain
I think
generates
mostly Joan
ideas
contributed
so
to this one.
easily. You
And also
literally
Joan
do it in
contributed
your
more to the
sleep.
idea that
So a
they wanted
thought
the
alone
series to be
cannot
more
make you a bad person, especially an unwelcome thought.
kind of like what
To
Remus
echo
was
the
saying is
words of
like
American journalist Paul Roberts, in the end, the most
mature
damaging,
in
forbidden thought,
the content
one
that
we
they were
were trained
making,
to block at every
not just
turn,
make it all kid friendly
may simply
all the
be
time
that we are
to get into more
really
like
okay.
deep ideas.
Until next time.
I
take it
really
easy,
like that
guys,
quut,
gals,
though,
and
too.
non-binary pals.
The one they just said though, we were really okay.
Before closing out this video, are you in the mood for food?
And now I'm
Always
just
you
gonna
say?
skip
Well,
this.
that is a mood. And now with HelloFresh, you can create new, exciting meals each and every week. Trust me.
Okay,
as
so
someone
now I
who's
think
at
we're gonna
one point
watch. I'm gonna check on our
physically terrified of
recording,
entering my own
make
kitchen,
sure everything's
partially
recording
due to a
properly. I
bad
guess
doom
it
about
is.
fridges, HelloFresh
And
makes
then
upgrading
I'm
the
going to
kitchen a
go
reality
to-
within 6-step recipe cards.
Takes
6
so
steps.
long
It's
to-
that
there we go.
easy. And I love a meal
So
that
I'm
does
gonna
not
go
play hard to
to
get. Like this chickpea-powered Mediterranean couscous.
bloopers,
Before today, I didn't even know what any of
because
those words meant. But now I know they
no,
mean
I told you. I
friggin'
think I told you earlier this
delicious.
time. Yeah,
Three
the reason I
plans
didn't
to
do
choose from
bloopers
and
is because I
switch back
didn't.
and
I
forth
clicked
on.
stream
Classic,
instead of
veggie,
record.
and family.
There it is. I was really excited for this. I think I might have said that earlier is I was really excited for this to come out because, yeah, I was saying that when he like licked the side of the guy's face is like I was excited to see how he reacted to that and all blushy Remus. But Remus, actually, the Remus bloopers, it's hilarious. They all act not like themselves. So the way the Remus bloopers are, like Remus was like cleaning the floor, like asking people to stop doing weird stuff, is like they all become the opposite of themselves, and that means Remus is just more behaved and all of the others are less behaved. It's the funniest thing. They just become less exaggerated, and his way of being less exaggerated is to be more more like neutral and fine.
On the outside. Excuse me. That's gonna go into the next blooper compilation. Whoa! The next blooper. The next burp montage.
I like that. When you're trying to
Burpers.
rip about a blooper, and then you're mess. This is the new start of the next blooper.
Uh-oh. Cue intro.
That is a very Pat-me thing to end up
What
saying.
is up, everybody? It's good to say that again. Gosh, it's been a while. Yes, it's another bloopers video. We weren't going to bring it to you this
I
soon.
was
but
so
there's
happy
been
when this came out
demand
because
for
this came out so suddenly
episode that we were like,
because
why the heck not?
there was only
Also,
one
throw
or
in the
two
bloopers
videos.
Are there healthy distractions? Couple of things before we
There
get
was
going.
only 2 videos and one of them was short right before this episode. So I'm like, there's no way he's going to do another bloopers video this fast. So I did not, when he said he was bringing out a new episode, a new video, I did not at all think it was going to be a bloopers video. And I think a lot of other people thought that too. So it was just such a treat when this came out.
This is a good example
Because
of
everyone was
videos
so
you will see on
excited
our
for the
second channel, Thomas
Intrusive
and
Thoughts ones.
Friends. If you enjoy our scripted content and like behind the scenes stuff like this, you should go over to our second
This
channel.
is a
and subscribe if you
vase
haven't already.
from
Also,
Hobby Lobby.
aside from the bloopers, we decided to include a little special extra
But
something.
I
So,
broke
I'm
my
just gonna leave it at
plastic,
that, and I hope that you watch all the way through, and I hope
thing,
you
and it
enjoy
kept my
And
plastic
lastly,
drink cup
yes,
and it
of
kept
course,
molding.
there is
So I had
some
to
censor
drink out of whatever I had
body
handy, and it was
language
a
and body
vase.
behavior in front of and behind the camera for this episode.
Works.
So there is my warning
Doesn't
to you
mold.
all.
It's
All right,
class.
Now, without further ado, I give you the bloopers. All right.
Okay, prepare yourself. Get in focus mode. Ah!
My imaginary drink. I think that's the tape. We're running. We're running.
Oh, this is the what the float one.
Are you ready, kids?
Forgot about that.
Of course they would stay in my head.
I don't even know how that even happened. Like,
Your most
why
extreme
would
reaction
Sean end
is an
up doing
eyebrow
that?
raise.
Just
Is an
walking them
eyebrow
behind.
raise. Oi!
Wait, Larkin, get the fuck out of here.
Yes, only after they was removed Excalibur.
What if there was an episode where they all ended up having accents? I don't know how they would integrate that into the thing, but that would be so hilarious. Like, they kept changing on their accents. I like the music they used for this blooper choice. It's tough. You gotta wibble wobble a little bit to get in
I'm
there.
on TV. Okay, I take back what I said about ghosts.
I feel like Remus and Patton would bond over puns, no matter how
Roman is
dirty
dead.
Remus's sense of humor is.
Cut to black. That's the end of the episode.
So that would be a good, like, April Fool's. Roman is dead. Cut to black.
Sounds a little like Stewie. Are you my side that is obsessed with butts?
You're my butt side?
Are you my butt side? Because
The backside.
I thought I might have one of those. Yeah, your
I
beehole.
can't believe they didn't make that joke.
That's
He's the
ridiculous.
backside.
The shoot needs to be staying zipped up. Your pooper. Your brown maker.
Oh my god.
Ew.
Yeah, your beehole. needs
Somehow
to
that
stay
makes me
zipped
more
up.
uncomfortable than anything Remus said.
Butthole.
Patton saying poop hole.
This is a nightmare.
Brown maker.
Yeah, try it. Give it a try.
Roman!
I wonder if that's what he actually sleeps in. That robe.
Well, how are you doing right now?
Oh, little me, I'm alright.
I'm alright.
Oh, man, you worry about me?
Oh, I'm alright.
Why are they all doing accents all of a sudden in this one? You can tell in this one that they have something that makes them laugh so much and then just stick to it.
Doing all right.
The accent, the what the fwa.
Sky.
I've got a little prince that lives in my head. Take a look in this room.
Right. This nice castle has a shitter.
Nothing makes me happier then sides, swearing, and I don't know what it is, but it just makes me giddy, tickled pink.
For once in your pathetic lives. Calm down! Just chill out for 2 seconds!
I mean, I feel like every second we're like
I'm being awesome right now.
I feel like he's always like
Immediately and uncritically accept the first negative thing they're
2 interruptions away from absolutely losing it.
them.
Virgil's a d- How I wish I could see into that little brain of yours.
What? I'm cool.
And then in this one also, yeah, Logan gets really condescending or patronizing. I feel like, yeah, also he thinks that way. I feel like Logan does feel patronizing, but like in an own security way, like similar to Roman, but in a way that like I'm smarter than you rather than I'm better than you, you know?
I'm starting now, apparently.
Well, he always kind of does that, but I feel like in like a really intense way, like how he was saying earlier. It's like,
not great at McConaughey. Soup.
Oh, we never got shots of Roman on the ground. Oh, wait, we haven't filmed Roman.
We haven't filmed Roman yet. I hate to break it to you about the rest of Roman's shots.
Mommy, I don't want the mashed potatoes. What voice was that?
And I want you to go, kid tested and approved.
Gavin!
I'm saying nobody wants to see it. Gavin, I said no one wants to. I didn't say everybody wants to. I'm sorry that I reminded you of the cool
Children.
Oh my god, stop talking about it.
Joan, stop corrupting the children. Oh, by the way,
What
Joan.
the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
I thought that I would be able to protect you from the dark side.
This one, maybe. No, I probably lost it the most at this blooper because they let up like all the way.
That was one of them. What the fuck?
Because he keeps the same face. He keeps the same serious face.
Get with the program, Virgil. Come on.
Everyone already knows.
I think it's hilarious how Thomas just didn't even character Thomas didn't figure it out. Because like ever since the dark sides were revealed, everyone knew what Virgil was one of them.
Eat a dork. Like, oh my gosh. A dork. Eat.
And I love being given 2 D's at once. 2 D's at once.
I'm surprised he's not as like he's way less blushy doing Remus than I thought he would be, considering how blushy he got his
The only 2 D's you should
deceit.
be doing is duty and devotion to our Lord and Savior. No onesie, no vote.
Such a
Like
youth
our
pastor.
founding fathers believed. What the fuck? What the fuck?
So funny.
Fine craftsmanship.
Your mind has been figuratively traveling through time and space, from meh to meh. Let's move it on, yeah. Roman, I'm gonna lose my
All of
Walked right into that one.
I love that one. Patent swearing is always
oh my gosh.
the greatest, but I always love how Roman's bloopers are always
3 times.
just Roman. Anyway. Don't like those ones. It's always funny because Roman's bloopers are always just Roman. Like he doesn't break character. He just gets becomes more intense and less filtered Roman.
My neighbors are gonna kill me. Oh my.
How old am I? I mean, okay, I'm still in the range where I'm acceptably tickled by swearing. I'm 16 years old. That counts.
Oh my gosh. Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm... Yes.
Can't believe him.
Pants. Pants.
For my British friends,
Lamp. Pants.
Lamp. He really doesn't like that lamp. it's weird for Roman to, like, watch the TV, because he's used to just standing in front of it all the time. That would be funny, is if, like, in one episode the TV just starts playing something. Like, it would be a cool effect if the TV just starts playing and Roman's like, what the heck? Did someone turn this on?
Do you hear your neighbors when they are loud?
Yes. They play movies really loud.
I feel very sorry for Thomas's neighbors. Okay, a lot of the ones where Remus gets more intense, but the boing, you can tell my brand of humor, and every single one I say that I like.
Whoa. It just completely threw me into a dizzy state. Wow. That was weird. It was like
Iron deficiency.
my brain.
What the heck was that?
That's apparently if you when you stand up too fast and you get like that blackness around your eyes, like your eyes get really like dark around the edges, or you see like black spots. It's because you have an iron deficiency. I don't really remember any.
Smelly bums.
Okay, I don't know any foods that have iron, but okay, so.
What are you talking about?
I really like that. Apparently that was improv, but the way, okay, so I was so excited to see Joan's Remus voice, because I don't know if I talked about this before. I was really excited to see Joan's Remus voice, because Thomas said that his Remus voice was inspired by Joan's Remus voice, and I'm like, that made me feel like, oh, that means Joan has the true Remus voice, but I still like Thomas's version better, because I think Joan's is even a little bit too clownish, you know? A little bit too much of a, you know, just a ball of, you know, jelly beans and cocaine, so.
It was because I thought I had to sneeze.
Oh yeah, I liked that too.
Of course she wasn't a ghost. Ghosts are evil.
It's funny.
Except for Moana's grandmother.
I was about to sneeze. Oh, yeah, okay. I felt so stupid because I didn't even realize that they would have used a green screen for the coming up behind him and like hitting with the thing, or in a lot of the scenes. I'm like, I didn't even consider green screen because I'm just used to getting immersed and not thinking about how they made things. I didn't even think about it. So they showed up with the green screen and I was like, oh, a green screen. Oh, I didn't realize we would see Remus's full out. I didn't even see it. So apparently he wears leather boots. I'm still gonna start drawing with like those. Still gonna show with the like the little curly toe boots, or like, you know, knee high boots, heels, Crocs. I love how people do Remus's like lower parts. And also, I wish he had like the puffy shorts. I saw a bunch of people draw him like that. I drew him like that with the one time. I prefer the shorts to the tunic, but I guess he matches Roman a little bit more with this when he has the tunic. But I don't know. Oh, he does have heels and little bows. That's cute. Is that a bow? I don't know. I never really looked at that. Oh my gosh, it showed you his shoes in the actual episode. How did I not notice that?
Scoot over more to your left, Thomas.
I hated that scene with the fake abs. I like that take. Wish they used it. I think it might have been too distracting, you know.
Gavin just sneezed and it just went into the fan. It's such a kid thing to do.
I love Gavin wearing the hoodie. I feel like anytime he comes over, he just wears that hoodie. I've seen him often. Okay, also, that freaked me out, because, like, I didn't think that I thought it was, like, a prop plate. Like, you know how they use sugar glass? I thought it was a prop plate, but it looks like he just actually smashed a fucking plate on his head. I wouldn't have assumed he would have done that.
You hid your face behind the dolphin again.
I'm going to f***ing Lose it. I can't deal with these conditions.
I can't work like this. I wonder if that's the same like fake blood that they use for like Virgil's like drippy stuff, like the sweetener stuff.
Unicorns aren't supposed to they don't have sex. That's how they do. They sprout babies from their horn.
I didn't think Hatton would even know what sex is, because he talked about, you know, the storks and not knowing where babies come from.
Oh, maybe there is a rhyme.
It sounds like you're saying boo.
A skiddly, what is it?
A scootily boo.
It has to be scootily boo.
Well, because it has to rhyme with do. If you say boop, it doesn't rhyme with do.
Well, I cannot argue with that.
You gotta get your gibberish right.
Sings out.
It's very serious.
Who?
Boop, snoop, schnoop, scoop.
Boop.
There it is.
Boop, boop, when you boop.
There you go.
Thomas, where'd
They
you
just
get
whip.
off?
What the f are you talking about?
Joan and I, like this.
Is it okay?
It's not great.
Okay, I had an idea that if I ever went to like a show with Thomas and like everyone was dressing up, I want to absolutely dress up as Remus, whether like an actual outfit or just like a Remus general outfit. But I want to have a basket that has like a little red and white checkered blanket, like little sheet on it, and then I want to fill it with those travel-sized deodorants, put the labels on them, fill them with the marshmallow fondant, and pass them out to people. That would be the most fun thing.
Ripping. Yes, only Arthur was able to remove the.
We still haven't gotten an answer yet. Secrets are no fun. Tell me now, or else we're done. That's right.
Yeah.
A sour taste in my mouth, probably left over from those.
I wish they used that take.
Leftovers.
No, I really like all of Roman's like little like rhymey sayings.
Seemingly
Such a Romany thing.
And then a little bit of
A lot of people forget about them in like fanfics and stuff, but he uses those things all the time, and I always love them.
Are we going to amend the inconsistencies in the
Sometimes Logan's just got a
Where are your kids, Patton? Where are your kids?
How are you a dad if you don't have any kids?
"You're my kid, Remus," and then he cries.
I just thought of something funny. Okay. Now I'm delirious. You must be a figment of my
Hey, wait,
imagination.
no.
Come on, all my other figments of my imagination.
I love that, but I realized just thought of something funny. That's like one of Thomas's vines, the one where he was like, "Sorry, she's fine," and Eva laughs, and he's like, "Sorry, I just thought of something funny. She's right here." I wonder if you noticed that. Also, the teeth right here, I didn't realize it until someone pointed it out, but he has like teeth on the sides of his like costume right here, and I feel like they didn't plan on that. I feel like it wasn't designed like that. I feel like they put those there because they bought the fake teeth for Logan when he had the moment where his teeth like came out. They had like those fake teeth, and I'm guessing it came as a set. So they're like, what are we gonna do with all these other teeth? I feel like someone who could use a lot of, you know, human teeth out of human mouths could be Remus, and we could incorporate it into his outfit because that's quite a Remus thing.
Petting my mustache.
My little mustache.
Okay, it's fine.
Oh shoot! I reapplied it.
Oh my god.
Wait for it. Mustacheless Remus. It looks awful. Looks so terrifying. It's something about the way that the eye makeup makes you feel like, oh, this should be Remus, and then you look down and it's like, oh.
We got Mario and Luigi here. We got fancy Mario and evil Luigi here. I look like the little boy in the Polar Express. I look like a gay hairdresser on Halloween. No, I really look like a 70s porn star.
I have a fanfic.
And that is precisely why the Duke...
Don't ask.
What is my deal?
It uses logic to this theorem to prove why the Duke is a bitch.
Oh my god, you're so
It's just funny hearing him say, bitch, bitch. The Duke has
That's
a
such a good line.
Bitch. What is your deal? Clap, clap. What is my deal?
No, I see a lot of people, like how people always draw,
Probably left over from those tiny
Virgil with the black
Needles?
fingernail
A sour taste
polish.
in my mouth,
I've seen a lot of
probably
people
left
do
over from
the
those
Duke with
reheated
black
leftover
nails
tight
or
needles in my
like dark
nose.
green nails, which I think works.
Such diarrhea.
Or he has like black like claws.
Hi, everybody. Where's my...
I also wrote a thing about that. Like I did the
I got it right here.
I did a series where like Roman worked with Remy to make dreams, and then Virgil worked with Remy to make nightmares. But then once Remus was introduced, I'm like, well, he would have clearly have been nightmares, so I did one with night terrors, and in those ones, Remy helps them, gives them like makeup and like nails and stuff, and the Duke ends up with like claws. It's great.
Oh! That's not how swords work!
I mean, he would be able to do that, aren't they? They can just conjure anything, just conjure a new hand.
Good. That's creativity. There it is.
Sorry if you're hearing my phlegm.
They didn't have this masterpiece on Blu-ray. Can you believe that? Can you? It's bullshit. The making of Just Like Heaven. I wanted to know. Reese Witherspoon's got a job. She's got no time for a boyfriend. And then she f***ing dies.
Never watched that movie. I should.
Sorry.
I'm sure it's really cheesy.
In hindsight, I shouldn't have picked my nose before doing that gesture. Wyatt won Best Chick Flick? I'm not a chick.
Gotta make it clear.
Chicks like movies? So there wasn't really a ghost? Talk about boo balls. So not Virgil. Well,
Yeah, all of Virgil's bloopers are just very out of character. All of the ones except the ones where he's, just insulting to see. Those ones work. But he's always... But, like, that's the whole thing is when Roman, all of his, like, bloopers actually work for him, Virgil's never do. Because he's so subdued, usually. That's the part I actually, I usually watch Thomas's videos, especially the Xander related ones, with my mom, and that part I just had to, like, yell for a second so she didn't hear that part, because I couldn't deal with watching that part with her.
Poopy! Covered poopy! 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 Motherfucker! Poopy! Poop! 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 Poopy!
I think I said that before, it's like, yeah, all of Thomas's swearing capacity is just collected and stored in Remus, so if it was realistic, Remus would just be a long just string of swears whenever he opens his mouth. Girl. I think I'm getting sick. Because I woke up just really tired. I slept 10 hours. No, I'm all stuffed up. I don't know how that works. Do they just, like,
I think that's good.
glue that to his
Thomas
forehead?
is going to imagine making a sandcastle out of Joan's ashes until he actually gets to do it. I'm gonna kick your ass if you don't stop. Like that one, Patton?
It was a pun and I didn't swear.
It was a pun.
What are you gonna do? Punch me?
You can't punch me.
You can't fucking punch me.
I'm imaginary, you dumb.
I saw that as like I saw someone draw that as art, and they said no. I think it was like Star. Forget the name. Got a commission from her, but Baka. No, I've seen people draw the "you can't fucking punch me" thing, and then it's the caption said "local rat man looks weirdly hot for some reason."
Reactions for you. I did jump out of a moving car for a vine. Did you not know that?
Still haven't gotten an answer. He hasn't.
That's the only reason you should ever jump out of a moving car is if you're making content, children.
Things better if it's coming from Joan.
Right, gross.
Pretty wild, huh?
I do not accept responsibility for anyone who actually jumps out of a moving car because I said that.
Hey man, come on, you know.
Wait. My earbuds stopped doing things. Okay, that should be good. Sorry. There we go.
Like the babies.
My earbuds are
Come on, Thomas.
messed
I love
up.
you.
Let me up, Joan.
Hand severed hand shenanigans. that's definitely what they used for Virgil's. I want to learn how to make that. I want to hear like the recipe for how to make that.
Actually, it tastes very good. Yeah, it's very syrupy.
It is corn syrup.
Oh, it's just corn syrup and dye, probably. That would be so sticky. Ugh.
No more blood. No more blood for any of you.
See, this is where.
I think you still got a little some right here, Ken.
Wait, is that what Cam said?
Right here. Blood for any of you.
It's like our whole thing.
I think you still.
Oh, he said it's like our whole thing, but like that's one of the things is like. Give me a second. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm good. I just coughed up a lung for a second. Okay. That's one of the things is like Remus getting out of character is saying no more blood. That's entirely out of character. I don't think Remus could have enough blood to be pacified and or satisfied.
Still got a little some right here, Camden. Right here. Right here. Oh, you like that? Oh, nice. Does anybody see the weird dad character over here? Wait, why are there 4 different me's in this room?
You could just call me by my name. Remus.
It's such a good part.
You told me?
The soundtrack
Right off the
too.
bat, just like that?
Yes, Dr. Seuss, I did.
I would tell you in a box. I would tell you with a fox.
I could tell you sucking.
Now that should have been in the script.
Repression can be. What the heck is my fingers? No, I didn't say repression. I said we keep them in Thomas's head and try to press them down. We press them down again. We repress them. Oh. Oh,
I think some of these things were, cut due to, time and conciseness.
Suffer from intrusive thoughts. So you're not alone.
I'm alone in a group of 50.
That's about the size of an average U.S. classroom. Maybe pay teachers a little bit more. Logan, shut up.
I feel like Logan would be very preachy about that.
What's wrong, Patton?
Cat, gotcha. Oh my goodness. Patton is being too strict? It's not me for once? What does that mean? Am I cool? Am I being... No, seriously, you're... really
Short-circuited.
lame.
No, even that blooper just...
I was thinking all along.
That blooper just made my heart break. I just imagining what if that actually happened to poor Logan.
No, seriously.
It'll be a great plot twist, though.
Joan.
Stop! Be nice to him.
And now maybe we won't. And now maybe we won't.
Blah, 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 blah. Don't do that. Never check to see if you've success. He hasn't acted on any.
And the baby bird flies straight into an unseen stretch.
Some psychologists might be more inclined to call a distraction in this context.
I really hope Remus is in the next episode. I hope all of them are in the next episode. I think Deceit might be because it's about the whole wedding callback debate, but I hope Remus at least gets a cameo, because as you might have guessed, and I think I might have told you this a few times, Remus is my favorite character.
Thank you. On to the next line.
Maybe you were a something. So, Fabric. He might have been an idiot. Oh my gosh, it got worse. I didn't think it get worse. I didn't think it get worse. It get worse. Go, Papa, go.
Like half of these are them just, short-circuiting and just glitching out, just continuously, just leaving out extraneous syllables.
Roman, don't touch my shit.
It's so weird that he's voicing Deceit in the Logan outfit.
What is that under your hat? Oh, I was looking for this. Oh, I was looking for this.
You're alive. It's a miracle. Praise Jesus, man.
The Duke says, boobs.
Boobs. The next 5 minutes of the video is the Duke trying to get out from behind the TV.
Wait, okay, hold on. Just give me a second. I am the Duke. Okay, hold on.
Open the gates and seize the day. Don't hesitate and don't delay.
Act like you're in space. And now you're on the moon. Is that what it is?
Yeah, basically. If I was in space, I'd be like this.
Sweeping in the background. Okay.
It'd be so cool to be a kid and just have a green screen at your disposal and people who know how to use it.
I don't want to get any blood on the carpet.
You guys really need to seriously get your f***ing act together.
This is already in space.
See, there it is again. Out of character.
This is our job.
Of course, the whole point of these is to be out of character, but I like it when it's just in character enough, but like more intense or more like unfiltered than what the character would say in canon. That's my favorite kind of blooper.
That wasn't a joke. Food is an important issue in our everyday lives. What are we gonna have tonight? Do we even have time to make it? How healthy is it? All these questions have been asked to me by these annoying kids that I babysit for.
We can hear you.
Oh my god, shut up. But they are easier to answer with HelloFresh. HelloFresh truly makes
This is an actual ad.
making munchies manageable with a medley of magnificent meals.
Okay, I didn't even notice. I thought that was just another blooper.
No problem. Big family.
I love this though.
Vegetarian? No problem. Cannibal?
We get a little,
Is a problem. Take
we
these
get a
amazing
little
black bean and
taste
poblano
of,
quesadillas
you know,
I made with my friend
low
Quil, so they're
content.
Quilsadillas. Or quesaquillas. Or quilsaquillas.
Oh,
Quilsaquillas.
I forgot. Yeah, at the end of this one, there's the trailer. I gotta react to this. Well, I've seen it, but you know what I mean. I'm so excited. It's video game themed.
Guess who just got a call back for an Alfred Hitchcock Lucas?
I wonder how long. I wonder if it's probably gonna be like 40 something minutes. Yeah.
He has a prior engagement that day. The wedding. Nobody's perfect.
Is that sound just the door opening?
He loves his friend. I want to go to the callback. I hereby sentence you to 1 day at the St. Clifford's Chapel on the day of Lee and Mary Lee's
I'm
wedding.
really wondering how this is gonna play out. Of course, the longest running. We've never really had a storyline like this, of like, you know, actually events that progress. We've had like the characters progress in like their characterization, but we've never had like a continuous storyline. So I'm really interesting to see how it plays out. I haven't really analyzed. I'm not really one to like theorize on something like that because I'm like, why not just? Because I know that it's gonna come out, so I'm like, why not just wait and see what happens? Because I don't know. I do like theorizing, but it's more when like they ask for theorizing. Like when it comes to like trailers and stuff, I'm like, I'm gonna see it eventually, so I'm just gonna. I don't want to have to try to guess. I'm just gonna see what happens.
No bloopers. That is the way.
Well, I do theorize about what's going to happen in the next episode, but not by the trailer. I don't like to pick apart the trailers.
The heck yeah.
Okay. That's it for my rewatch series, actually. So... Okay, so the next time I'm going to see you is reacting to the next Stranger Things episode, which should come out any day now. Probably like in the next few days, which is really exciting. Okay. Those are boobs. Bye, guys.